Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
Back in the house, baby, for first Masters 1000 of the year. The fifth
Yeah, J-Rod, we are on and potting.
Yes, we
Just
are.
FYI.
We have an audience actually waiting for our pods. Like, can you? I couldn't imagine that happening. What?
Well, I mean, I thought we would, but I thought it'd be
15
like
months
maybe
ago.
one of your friends and maybe like my little brother or something. And the fact that we have people we don't know who are interested is like crazy.
Yeah. And
It's a
exciting.
tough tournament to pod for, man. This draw comes out like lines didn't even come out until like this afternoon, like for futures and stuff. It's
Yep.
kind of annoying. I mean, we complain about it every week, so I guess it's old hat, but like it's just tough. It's a tough sport to like.
Well,
It's a tough sport to
February
create
is
content for.
easier. I think the West Coast time zone is actually not good for like tennis potting, right? Because us with full-time jobs and stuff, like the lines come out like while we're at work. So we can't really
Yeah,
like study and dive into it,
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So
I got up at like 6 o'clock this morning. Only like half the lines for like the qualities today were out. Like,
I got up at 4, so I was able to hit something.
no, but I'm saying like, but like, when I got up at like 6, I saw like 10 of the 16 matches had lines out. Did
Really?
you see lines for all 16
I didn't
matches?
see all of them, but I hit the ones that were up.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That
But
makes
you got to
sense.
hit these early because like there's sharp bettors that are moving these lines.
Well, so it depends what you're doing. Like for us as casual bettors, 100%. The problem is usually books have like lower limits on the early lines because they obviously don't want to have that risk, right? Like they know the opener they put out can get snatched.
That's true, but like Moreno de Alboran started as a plus 190 dog. I hit it today, um, and he ended at plus 110, I believe, like prior to the match.
No, I know. Like you can get some serious like CLV on these matches
Yeah,
if you hit them early. I'm saying that's why books don't give you like a great limit, right? Like that's why they give you like if you're like a professional bettor, it's hard to like put enough down to take advantage.
true, true. Yeah. So you
And you
did
got to be like up. You got to get up. You got to know when the book's going to release and like get up right away.
well, you
Like,
got to keep refreshing. It's crazy. It's like a 24-hour job. It's insane.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane.
Have you
So
ever seen the South Park? It's the World of Warcraft South Park. Do you watch South Park at all or not?
no, I don't.
All right, then it's not the joke's not going to be. But they have a joke where there's a guy who's like really good at World of Warcraft, and he just like plays World of. It's like this like older guy, and he just like plays like World of Warcraft all the time, and he's like just dominating these kids, and because he's played like so much, his like character's amazing, and that's what I think of when I think of like just refreshing the screen like every 5 seconds.
That's amazing. That's great. That's great. Anyway, fun times for the pod coming up. We are going to be in Miami. It's official now, right?
We're gonna be
So
live.
we're going to be live first weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe Monday, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's exciting, and
So let's see. Maybe we
hopefully
can do a couple live pods on site. That'd be cool.
that would be really cool. I don't know. We'll definitely do like live videos, like on
Yeah,
the phone,
yeah.
but with our like logic for our picks and stuff. But
Yeah, we'll have to see. It might be hard to actually get everything set up to actually do like a full live pod, like
yeah,
from the
it would be tough.
site. But it'd be sweet. It'd be sweet to be like
It would
sitting
be,
in a corner, like at like 8 p.m. after the event's over, like just
yeah.
live podding for the next day. It would be
And
kind of
we're
fun.
hoping to meet one of our mentors, but well, he's not really a mentor, but he's one of our, I guess, tennis potting idols, right? Nigel Seeley.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Possibly in the
Yeah.
works.
I think we definitely owe him a beer more than he owes us, right?
I mean, yeah, we owe him. Yeah. We owe him more than a beer, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, exciting times. So let's get into to the recap, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's
That's
a good
where
place
we'll
to start.
start. Because there were 3 exciting tournaments last week in Dubai, Santiago, and Acapulco. So I guess let's start in Dubai. So we got to talk about Ugo Humbert because he's been nothing but impressive. Like you said prior to the event, like, oh, it's windy conditions, he's only been great indoors, like, and to be able to translate that to an outdoor court and like to beat Hubie, Medvedev, and Bublik back to back to back days, like, is damn impressive. I don't think you can say otherwise. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
That being said, he's probably got to fade going into Indian Wells just because of like I don't think it's a good court for him. You know,
So I was
Dubai is
gonna
a
say
much
that's the
quicker
one thing I was
court.
gonna say to counter that, Manny, because I think you're right. I think the fast court in Dubai helped him. I think he needs quick courts. Like the wind he was okay with, but I think he still needs the quick courts.
Yeah, but I think, you know, instead of fading him, I'm probably just gonna stay away because like he's playing damn good tennis. You know, like his
He
rally
is.
tolerance
He
has
is.
improved, his movement has improved,
Yeah.
his compete level has improved. Like there's so
Yeah.
many aspects of his game that has gotten better. His serve has improved. Like transitioning to the net, like using his ground strokes and then transitioning attacking play into the net has been much better. So I'm probably going to fade him, and it has to be against the right guy. Where I would. Well, I'm probably going to stay away, but it has to be the right guy against who I'm, you know, if I would fade him in any capacity.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, what he's like top 15 now. It's crazy his
I think he's close.
rise.
Yeah, might be. I think he might be 14 or something. I can't remember what he is in the rankings.
Yeah,
He is 14.
14. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's damn impressive. I mean, I was watching some of that Medvedev match and some of that the Bublik match too. I mean, like he was flawless, like making no mistakes and like defending exceptionally well. I was like, whoa, this is really impressive stuff.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to add with Ugo Humbert?
No, I mean, I think you covered it. Like, I mean, the biggest thing I was going to cover is like, let's see on a slower court. But I don't think, I don't, I think some of it, I think a lot of it does translate. You know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
think I agree with you on that. And yeah, I think he's playing the best tennis of his life. He's playing really well. He had one of these kind of rises before, right? Where I think he might have cracked the top 30 and then he fell off and now he's back. I mean, this is higher than he's ever been, but I think he might have
Yeah.
cracked the top 30 before, like a year or two ago. Um, but yeah, I mean, let's see how long he holds it. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's,
Yeah, he's just like building confidence. Like you could see the confidence in his like
I
face and
mean,
his game. I don't know. It's
yeah.
I don't think it's really going to translate to clay per se. Well, although he had a decent clay court run last year, winning like I think two Challenger 175s on clay last year. So maybe
Yeah,
maybe it will translate. I don't know. Who knows?
yeah.
Who knows? Medvedev. I don't know. I wasn't that impressed. I mean
No.
he shouldn't be losing to Humbert, you know, even with Humbert in this form.
Well,
Uh,
and
um,
he also lost a set to Sonigo, who granted wins a lot of sets against guys. We lost to Sonigo. I think he had a little bit of a challenge with Shevchenko, right?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, like, but again, like, I don't know, man. First tournament back since Australia, so I'm not really worried about it. Plus, remember, he played like 8 million hours in Australia. So I'm
Right.
not as concerned. Like, I don't know, I'm a little more like,
But heading into Indian Wells, I don't like where his game is. Like I actually think he is against the right opponent. He's a guy I would want to fade in Indian Wells. Because like he doesn't like these courts, he doesn't like these conditions, he doesn't like these balls to begin with.
yeah, but I think he kind
Last
of learned. So I think ironically, like I'm actually gonna take the opposite position and say that he's almost like he's the guy who enough people might say that about, such that he becomes underrated. Um, like if enough people say you're overrated, you become overrated or you become underrated. And I think that might be what happens with Medvedev for the next couple of weeks. Because like I can kind of give him a pass coming back after a month layoff for Dubai. And like, does he love the Indian Wells courts? No, but he certainly learned to accept the slower courts last year, right? He won Rome, like, which is funny because I think in a press conference he said it still doesn't sit well with him. But but like, but he did like, yeah, he'll bitch and moan and like whine and say he doesn't like the courts, but like he'll accept it and he'll play.
Yeah, I mean he'll play, he'll accept it, but last year he was coming into the Indian Wells with
And
much more
Fuego.
confidence, like going nuts, winning three straight tournaments, right? He was the MVP of the February swing, whereas this year he was far away from that, right?
Well, he only played one
Oh,
tournament. He made the semis. I don't think it was that bad. Like,
Yeah, but it wasn't a good semifinal run. It wasn't like impressive. It wasn't.
No, but like, I mean, I don't know. I like I said, I'm gonna give him a pass for this one because first tournament back and he played 20 million. I mean, he literally played like what 20 something hours in Australia. Like,
I mean, we'll go over the draw, but I just want to see like potentially his like first couple matches.
well, this
Um,
tournament, I mean, honestly, it's a little bit. I don't know. I feel like there's not a whole lot of. We'll talk about, it, but there's not a whole lot of exciting unseeded guys in this tournament. I don't think.
I mean, he does have a pretty easy draw, like Kaboli and RCB. Like, obviously, we're not going to fade him against those two guys, right? And then like Roman, Safulin, Evans, or Korda. I guess Korda is a guy could potentially in this third round, and then maybe Machak or Dimitrov. I mean, Dimitrov did get him here in 2020, I believe. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows? I think I'm so you're not willing to fade him in Indian Wells, right? Just off of this.
I'm just not too particularly worried about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not necessarily like backing him. I'm like kind of ambivalent. Like,
So are you more worried about Medvedev or Alcaraz
oh,
heading into
Alcaraz by
Indian Wells?
far. I mean, Alcaraz has a legitimate physical injury, and he hasn't played well in like 8 months. Or not, I shouldn't say well, but he hasn't played his standards in like 8 months.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's fair. I'm probably a little more worried about Alcaraz too. As far as another guy in Dubai,
I mean, we need to talk some Bublik, man.
Bublik. Yeah, we gotta talk Bublik.
Because like he's I'm not gonna say he's all the way there with the maturity, but it's increased maturity from previous years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's it's there's a little he's winning matches coming back from a set down, which is good because he used to kind of take the toy box and go home. And like yeah, I think he's like slightly like I said, slightly, like not slightly. He's improved in that maturity. He's more mature. I'm not gonna say he's all the way there yet. He did lose to Sumit in straights at Australia, but like it's better than it's been in
Yeah.
previous years.
Yeah, it's been what, like 7 times he's come back from a set down to win.
Yeah. Now I don't know how much we can take it into. Like I don't think this tournament is great for him. But yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think last year he went like 3-8 between Indian Wells and the grass, something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he won Montpellier last year. I don't know if he had a second good run. I don't think so. But like
He
February's
had
typically
Astana
a
in the
good
back
month
end.
for
He had
him.
Halle, he had Astana, he had a few.
Yeah. But February's typically a good month for him, right? Where he likes to accumulate a lot of points. And then this is not a good time of the season for him. So I'm not going to look to back him, but at the same time, like with that increased maturity, I'm not going to look to fade him per se. I'm just probably going to stay away from his matches,
Yeah.
right? But I don't know, he's playing better from the ground. I feel like he's being more disciplined in rallies.
More disciplined.
Yeah. But
I
that
wouldn't say he's disciplined.
unpredictability is what wins him a lot of points, you know? Like not dumb unpredictability, but like, a chip forehand here or there, or
I
like
think it's just that he's so good at like that goofball stuff. And like I
he's
get what
so,
you're saying because it's
yeah.
unorthodox and like maybe it gets to guys a little bit, but I think it's more just like he's so good at it. Like
Yeah.
he's one of the better touch players in the game. So like he wins a lot of points from weird positions just because he's like really good at playing from weird positions.
Doesn't
And
he
I do. So I did want to say that I do think he's gotten better at like I don't know, like instead of like before we were just like okay, I have problems and it's just is what it is. I'm just gonna do the two things I do well and like that's it.
Mhm.
It feels like he's reached the next stage, which is like okay, like he's still not gonna play 20 ball rallies, but at least he knows now to like try to get into like goofy rallies and
Mhm.
like but like in a smart way. Like at least like okay, now I'm gonna try like my drop his drop shot's a little better. Okay, I'm gonna hit a few more drop shots. He's gonna hit a few more drop shots. good drop shots, like make guys like try to play different stuff, be ready for what the guy's going to do coming back, and like be ready to play that point out. Whereas I feel like before he would just like almost give up on the rally, and now it's like he's trying, like he's not going to play a long rally, but he's at least like trying to do something that's like it might not be optimal, but at least it's like
Mhm.
semi-logical that gives him a chance instead of just like a complete bailout shot, which might
Yeah,
have been what you were saying before. But I think that's been a big part of this like increase is like, okay, he's still not winning 50% of the rallies that go over 10 shots. But if he's winning like 40% instead of 10%, and I don't know if those are the actual numbers, but if he's winning 40,
I don't know. I would check the stats on that because I actually think he's winning a lot of longer rallies
yeah, it'd be
from
interesting. I don't know. You know what I mean? It'd be interesting to see. But like,
yeah.
my point is like, regardless, like, I've got to imagine it's better than it used to be, and like any improvement is improvement, right? Like, so
Well,
that's
I also think just in the overall big scheme of things, like from a pure tennis talent perspective, he's top five. Just in terms of what he can do with a tennis racket.
is ability to hit standard ground strokes part of tennis talent.
It's hard to explain what tennis talent is, but like Federer is the greatest of all time in terms of just pure tennis talent, right? Like Djokovic might be better in terms of results, mental toughness, all that. Nadal might be better in terms of, competitiveness, all that, right? But like just from a pure hands feel, what you can do with a tennis racket, I think he's top five in the world.
I think in terms of like the variety of things he can do,
Hmm.
yes. Um, so I get where you're going with it. I guess it just depends how you define it. You know, I mean, I think it could have a slightly different definition for
The
different
different
people.
things he can do with the serve, the different shots he can hit, like
No,
the
I mean, just yeah, if you're asking just pure variety, that's probably true. My point was more like I don't know, like in terms of like what wins in tennis, you still got to weight like your standard ground strokes higher. So is that like is this so when you're judging tennis talent, do you judge that higher, or is it just like number of tools in your toolbox? And I think that's where it could be a little different for everyone. So I see your point.
but he also has a great like injection of pace. Like he can play kind of a goofball rally and then just out of nowhere just come out with some crazy pace, right? He has that ability.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
so just in terms of like tennis, like if you compare, for example, Bublik's natural tennis ability with Baez's natural tennis ability, it's night and day, right? That's kind of where I'm getting at.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I
So,
mean, I think that's a reasonable take.
yeah. And then we got to touch on the Rublev default. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're both on the same page. We discussed it privately, but like I think it was just total nonsense, to be honest. It wasn't nonsense in terms of like what Rublev did. Like what Rublev did was unacceptable. Like you can't do that. But did it warrant a default? Absolutely not. Did it warrant a point penalty or even well, I guess not a game penalty because he would have lost the match anyway at that time. But like a warning for sure. Point penalty, yes, but like just to default at that time, I don't think so.
So I would like to see tennis like do more what like our other American sports do, which is like not just chuck guys out of games right away, but like issue like fines and things like issue fines behind the scenes and like I don't know, like maybe even issue like suspension probably would have been a little bit like I don't know, like like so tennis never issues like they do issue some fines for like in sportsmanlike conduct, but like they don't issue like I don't know, like football issues like 1 week suspensions all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And like you never see tennis issue like a 1 week suspension. Like if they suspend somebody, it's like a long-term thing. And I think it'd be, I guess they can't because like I guess if they gave a 1 week suspension, the guy just wouldn't care. He'd be like, whatever, I'll just play some other tournament. Like, it was just an off week for me. So great. Like, it doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter. So like they're kind of trapped in that sense, but like I don't know. It feels like
Yeah.
there's a better way to punish than throwing a guy out of the tournament for something like that, which is like it's not really like, it's also frustrating because like compared to other offenses that we've seen that
Hmm.
got like similar. So like how does Zverev, and I know Zverev got a probationary suspension that he then was a good boy, so he got removed. But like, how does Zverev at Acapulco get the same penalty? Actually, not. Yeah, I guess the same penalty as what
He got
Rublev
an
did.
even lesser penalty because what he did was after the match happened, right? So
Well, he got
like,
thrown out of the singles though. He was still in the singles tournament. They threw him out of the singles tournament
oh
because
yeah,
remember it was after a doubles match what he did.
true.
But still, like, how does that get a similar penalty? Like, those are worlds apart, right? Like what Zverev did is
Yeah.
like legitimately scary. Like somebody easily could have gotten hurt.
Even
What
so,
Rublev did, like, yeah, it wasn't acceptable, but like
well, the lines
nobody.
person lied. First of all, he did not curse in Russian. He cursed in English.
He could have misinterpreted. It's not necessarily like a straight lie, right? He could have been misinterpreted. He could have misheard. Like,
It was
I
a
don't know if it's
lie.
like I don't know if it's a straight lie,
It
man.
was
I
a
think
lie.
that's pretty mean. Like, I think that's over. He easily could have misheard. Like, that's it's a similar enough word you could mishear. Like, he doesn't get to hear a replay, right? Like, he's hearing it from however far away
But it
he
was
is.
shown what was played. It was like, how was it out? How? Like you could see his like lips moving.
Yeah, but I'm saying the lines person in real time, right? Isn't like, but I think that's part of the issue you're getting at. Like, if they're gonna do that, they should at least like they should at least have like replays or have some sort of way to like review the situation instead of like a lines person saying, "Oh, this is what I heard." Like, because like I don't know, it's the same thing as like so the perfect correlation to American football is like targeting, right? Like in college when they throw guys out for
Yeah.
targeting, they always review it
Right.
because like an ump could miss it on the field and it would really suck to suspend a guy when like
Yeah.
when he's not in the wrong, right? And like and like American football was like college football was smart enough to say, okay, we'll review it, take the 3 minutes to review it, and like given like this was a big enough situation, a big enough spot, like they easily could have taken 2 to 3 minutes to have some sort of review. Like it's not like it's not on. It's not like it's not on any camera or like televised in any way. Like they easily could have instituted some sort of review and at least tried to figure out what's going on. And then I agree with you. If they tried to figure out what's going on, they would have, and then the situation wouldn't be. I mean, maybe they still default him like without the cursing. Maybe just say, hey, you know what? Like it's a problem
I
that
would be
like
fine with that if they had some kind of review process, right? Like just saying it's a default because he was cursing in Russian as the line judge said, to me doesn't warrant a penalty. Like with Serena in '09, like, she constantly went back with the ball, like threatening that line judge, you
and
know?
that wasn't even a default. That was just a point penalty.
That was a point
I mean, that's
penalty.
the
Exactly.
insanity, right? Is that like
The
the
consistency of it.
the inconsistency is insanity. Exactly. Or
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just it's entirely unfair. And I wonder if there's something to that too. I wonder if there's I don't know,
Like
like an anti-Rublev sentiment.
with this incident, actually, if Rublev got a game penalty and lost the match because of that, I would have less of a problem with it than an automatic default.
Yeah, but even a game penalty, like how would you justify a game penalty in that spot? It'd be like a triple on sportsman. Like I don't know. It's yeah. It's
There
I
should
even
be
think that would
levels
be
to it. I mean, I just think like that would be more justified than
yeah,
automatic.
sure, more justified. I don't know how much more justified, but sure, more justified.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you. Like I think it was a pretty soft default. Like I thought, I thought a point penalty was probably the
Agreed.
right,
Agreed. Penalty for it at that time.
yeah. Because
And they
and like
gave, huh?
and if they're gonna do that, the biggest thing to your point is if they're gonna do that, then let's have a consistent process and let's have a consistent standard that we judge guys on.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because we can't this is completely out of standard. Like regardless of what people think and whether or not people think it's acceptable, this is completely out of standard. And it's not like this is like, and it's not like we're comparing things from like 20 years ago. Like we're comparing this to like incidences. I mean, Zverev was what? Literally almost exactly 12 months ago. Maybe it was
Right.
as
Yeah.
close to 12 months as it could
Basically.
have been. Like it was 367 days.
No, Zvera was 2 years ago. It was before
Oh, it
the
was
injury.
okay, my fault. 2 years ago. My
Yeah.
fault. My fault. You're right. Yeah, he was injured last year. How would he
Yeah,
how would have had him happen? But
right.
yeah, like, and there's been other instances too that have been, way more um
Yeah,
uh,
egregious for sure. I
yeah,
mean, how do you think this impacts Rublev going forward?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean,
Yeah, probably not.
it might impact. It'll be interesting to see how it impacts his on court demeanor. Because I don't know if that's an issue for people also, just the yelling at himself. I've heard a lot of
Well, people are
people
saying it's
not
an issue
fan of
because
that.
like he actually blew up at an umpire at a UTS event. Like he's
I
had
heard about that, yeah.
incidences recently of like getting closer to the line, and like,
And that could be part of this too. You know what I mean? It could have been that, like, there could have been like a uh
but he's never like
like,
insulted or physically hurt someone else,
I'm
right?
not saying it's justified. I'm saying like this might have been like, because I can't, like, it's hard for me to like wrap my head. And I'm not saying it was like an ex like, I'm thinking like it was just more of like a, what do you want to call it? Like internal, like, thing that drove the judgment, but like, internal bias or whatever. Because like, I just like, it really, like, compared to what we've seen, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally.
Like,
And we're not
yeah,
here saying that, oh, this is the reason why they should do electronic line calling. Like, I think it's a totally separate issue, right? And when we were talking about it privately, like, I think you said it best. Like, why can't two things be true? Why can't the behavior be unacceptable, but also the fact that it was a default be wrong as well, right?
right, right,
Like they're separate things, right?
yeah,
So,
100%.
yeah. So we're on the same page there. All right. Anything else you want to touch on in Dubai? I think we covered pretty
Um,
much everything important, right?
yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, trying to just look through the draw one more time. So I guess I don't know if this is really more for the end or more for here, but Murray, he did win a match finally.
Finally, yeah.
But he he sort of hinted at his retirement being this year. I don't know if you heard that or not. He sort of hinted that he's
I
not going
did,
to play
yes.
much past this summer. Um, so it's and this we don't really have a lot of time for this recap because we do have a tournament to cover and it's already pretty late. But
Yeah.
I do, one of our pods will have to play the game of like, when do we think they'll retire? There's about five. We started talking about the dead men walking. There's about five or six significant players who have really good
Yep.
careers, who are maybe upwards of 10, depending on how you define, who are going
Mm-hmm.
to retire in the next 2 years. And we could play a little game and see like when are they going to retire? Because I think there's some interesting, like Murray. Murray, it's a really interesting thing because he wants to play the Olympics, but in order to play the Olympics, he's got to get in the top 56. Right now, he's ranked 67.
That's going to be really tough to improve his ranking.
That's going to be a challenge, given the way he's, yeah.
Plus, doesn't he have to be like the second or third best
Top
Brit or
four. I think it's
something?
top four. It's either
Top-
top three or top four British players. That shouldn't be too bad because there's just Draper, Nori, Evans. I think it's top four. I think.
Brody.
Yeah, Brody. That's what he's got to worry about.
Yeah. Uh,
I think it's
yeah.
the 56. So I don't think there's any wild cards for Olympics. So he does actually have to qualify on ranking.
Okay.
There might be a wild card for host country, but it won't matter in this case because France will get plenty of players in.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, you could see that Father Time has hit him. Like he just lacks the explosion. He doesn't have the power off the ground.
Well, it's been a slow
The
decline,
movement is
right?
problem. Yeah, it's been but the decline has really kind of hit hard recently more than
I disagree.
before.
I mean, like, because I think it's just like the decline, like the decline has now hit a point where the past few months, he has not been deserving of a spot on the ATP tour,
Mm-hmm.
or at least not in most of these
He's a
tournaments. Like
challenger
there's
level
guys,
player right now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, um, and because like the decline from like one of the best of all time, possibly a top 10 player of all time, to where he was even 2 years ago was a pretty steep decline.
Right.
So like I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say, I don't know, it's hard to say like the rate of decline is accelerating. It's just like at least last year he was like, I mean, we said he was legitimately earning his ATP card last year. It wasn't like he was just getting him because of
Well,
protected
last year
rank.
he made the final of Doha. I think, or
That's my point. Like he
right?
was,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was Doha, but he was legitimately earning his, and he won a couple challengers. Like he was legitimately earning his ATP,
Yeah.
you know, his spot, and now he's probably not. And it's I can see why he's
It's
up there.
honestly tough to watch because like you could see how much like it hurts him to be where he is now. And like he's always said that he believes that he could make a deep run at the slam, and like he's always tried to force himself to believe that that could happen, and it just hasn't come to fruition. And it's just, and it's not, because players are getting better. Father Time is hitting him real hard, and it's just tough. Like he just
Well,
didn't
I
get
don't think it's
it.
just that. I also think it's just the slow, like you've been able to see that for ever since he came back from the hip surgeries, that like there's balls that he knows he used to be able to get to and can't. It just kills him not to be able to like get to that
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, like I said, it's really hard now when he just like he still has the will and like the mental side, but just like physically it's not. You're right. I mean, you hit on the head. There's no explosion. There's no
But it's tough to
athleticism.
watch because you see him like, I want to get to that ball, and
Yeah.
he's trying to get to that ball, and then he just like pulls up and then limps away. It's like, ugh, like he didn't deserve this to happen, right? Like it's just tough. But all right, let's move on to Acapulco. So
All right.
Demon defends his title, gets his first win over Sissipas in 10 tries. That was a nice
I thought it was a really impressive, actually. Like so, like the last year's Acapulco run was pretty weak, to be honest. Like he was just
yes.
last man standing and got an incredibly easy draw. He played like Jacopo Berrettini, Taro
Jacob.
Daniel, and like Rodrigo Pacheco Mendez to make
And
the semi,
then a injured Paul who played 4 hours in the previous round.
and a Rune who cramped up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was really I cashed that at 12-1 last year. But it was truly, and I felt kind of proud because like I did see the draw beforehand. It was truly like not, it wasn't like an I love Demonor. It was like hey, this dude has going to play a bunch of clowns and like can probably find his way through. It was a preparation meets
Right.
opportunity title.
Right.
But this was like a real, but to get back to the tennis part, like this was a real like true 500 title run. I think
Yeah.
to beat
Agreed.
Rude, to beat a hot Jack Draper, and granted, I'm not gonna say he got lucky, but Draper did apparently have some food poisoning that potentially impacted that match.
I'm not buying that. All right.
I'll buy into it. And then but then also to beat Tsitsipas, like that's a pretty good run. Like it was a much tougher field. His draw was much tougher this time, and he won the event.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think he's a better tennis player than he was even 12 months ago right now. And
Yeah, I
like,
mean for sure. Obviously, I don't think that's a debatable. He really, it's
yeah,
interesting. You're right. You hit it on the head. He's playing a lot better offense.
he
A
is.
lot better offense.
Yeah, for sure. Being way more aggressive.
But able to execute, not just being more aggressive, but actually being able to execute offense.
Yeah, and still using that like speed to kind of transition from defense to offense, right? So,
Well, now he can do both, right? That's the
yeah,
difference. Before he could do
right.
one, now he can do both.
Yeah, he's breaking at a very high clip this year. He's breaking at like 27% or 28
I think he's
percent
already he's always been pretty close to there, though. He's always been one of the better break guys on tour. It's that he
Yeah.
couldn't hold before because he didn't have the offense to hold
He
serve.
still has some of the worst serving percentages in the top 20.
Well, in terms of his serve accuracy is not good. Like
No.
they were showing like I saw this graphic of like, and I'm not even saying like missed first serve versus made first serve. I'm talking about where the first serve is in the box.
Hmm.
And they were showing like most guys it's like there's like three like major like clusters, right? There's like
Right.
there's both lines and there's like the middle for the occasional
Yep.
body. Demon Norse is like all over the place.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I could see that.
but again, like he's so good at the rest of the game.
Hmm.
And it's kind of interesting. It feels like he's prioritized getting more power versus being as accurate, which is an interesting choice. And maybe for him it is the right choice. I mean, because maybe for him is like if he can get like to a decent position in a rally, he's fine. Like
Hmm.
like he doesn't need to win.
Well, he can
Like he
always
doesn't need to.
rely on his fitness and his you know, defense, right? Because he knows
Yeah.
that against 95 to 96% of the players, like besides really the top 5 or 6 guys, right? Like his defense is on par, right? Or better than anyone else,
I
right?
mean,
So
his defense might be on par better than anyone else. It's just that like other guys have better transition and better offense, right? Like even a guy like a Sinner, like I think Demonor's pure defense might be on par with Sinner. The problem is the offense is nowhere close. So if it's like a equal defensive battle and then Sinner's
right.
offense is way better, his transition is way better, he loses.
But fitness is also never an issue, right? Physicality is never
Never
a
an issue.
problem with
Never
him.
an issue. Yep.
So
Correct.
he just eliminates a lot of variables and like he does have weaknesses, but like if he improves those weaknesses slightly, all the strengths are really good. So it makes him a really, really tough out because like I was watching the match against Rude and Rude had no idea where to go. Like
Yeah,
especially
I
on
think
a
it's really
slow
tough to figure out
court,
where to go against him.
it is. It is. And like I kind of read that match pretty well. Like I thought that uh like Demonor would be able to attack that floating backhand and any
Yeah.
forehand that Brood got, Demonor would be able to defend and get it back into a uncomfortable position. That's exactly what happened, and it's like Brood had no clue what to do, like literally.
Yeah, I mean it's just
Oh,
tough, right? Like he just didn't have the he's just up against a guy
yeah,
who couldn't like with how well Demon played, he wasn't gonna win that match.
right, right. Um, so good week from Demonor. His
So to go
girlfriend
to flip
actually.
the other way, because I think we're gonna have a little bit of a debate here.
Uh-huh.
Are you Zverev? What are your thoughts on Zverev?
He's like an afterthought because he lost so early. I didn't even think about him. He lost to Altmaier.
Yeah, yeah, first round.
I mean, Zverev is prone to this kind of nonsense, right? So I think he prefers a slightly faster court. He's good on clay, but I think on hard he prefers a quicker court because he gets a little bit more work on the serve. And I feel like he gets sometimes undisciplined in rallies. Like he'll just kind of make a dumb error for no reason. And he tends to play down to the level of the competition. That's a problem. And on a slow court, that becomes more problematic, I feel, because he doesn't win as many free points on serve. So that's kind of my takeaway. I'm not like weighing too much into this, but like he hasn't been that good at Indian Wells in the past.
How has he done Indian Wells in the past? That's a good question.
Hmm?
I said, how has he done Indian Wells in the past? That's a good question.
Not well. I think he made one semi. Like that was the COVID year. He lost to Fritz, but he lost to Tommy Paul in an early round. Um, I remember he lost to Nadal when he was like super young, when he had a bunch of match points, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Yeah, yeah. I guess he's had a bunch of early round losses. It hasn't been a good tournament for him. Kind of
It
interesting.
hasn't.
I didn't realize it.
Um,
Because I
so
don't. I mean, I feel like he should be a pretty pure all quarters Zverev, to be honest. Like he's got the skills to be good on literally any court. I mean, grass you would think would actually be the biggest problem for him.
so I think he lacks discipline in rallies. Like I think he can do it for certain periods, but he doesn't do it consistently all the time. And that's where he gets into trouble against weaker guys.
I actually disagree. I don't think that's so much his issue. I think his issue is that he's like he's too much of a guy who's only good from like in the slots. So we talk about how like this in the slot backhand, when that backhand
Mhm.
is like at his waist height is like by far the best in the game. It
Yep.
might be the best weapon in the game, period. But like in his forehand is the same way. It's on a worse level, but it's the same way. But like when he gets like all like he's a good athlete, but his shots are like the drop off on his shots when he has to go low or when it's not in the slot is he has a bigger drop off than a lot of other guys. And I think that's a problem. I think like that's why like what I think like when he gets into
Mhm.
rallies, like eventually he has to hit a shot from like a weird position, and he's just like not particularly good at that. And it's weird because he is a great athlete. Like it's not like an athletic issue. It's just like
And theoretically, he should have a big slot because he's 6'6", right? So he should be able to handle balls at a lot of different heights.
well, but I mean low is going to be a problem if you're 6'6", right? Because you have to get like bending down low is going to be tougher.
Okay, but like then a slower court like this or Indian Wells should be good for him because it's bouncier, so the ball should get up, right?
Yeah, it should be because he's tall, right? So his strike zone should be a little bit higher, so it
Theoretically,
should be
yes.
better.
So I don't
Um,
necessarily think that that's a problem with him. I think it seems to be just like against lower rank guys, he just find ways to make matches complicated, way more complicated than they should be.
yeah, well, I guess like against Altmaier, he actually was statistically dominant against Altmaier. He just couldn't convert a break point to save his life. Like I can't remember what he was on break point, but his break point stats against Altmaier were not good. I want to say it was like 1 out of 8, 1 out of 9 or something. And like
He's
that's really what
one
killed
out of
him.
three.
He was only 1 out of 3.
Yep. Oh no, that was breakpoint saved.
Yeah, I think yeah,
1 out of 7.
yeah.
He was
So
3 out of 10 against Thompson in Los Cabos.
which isn't that terrible. Like 4 out of 10 would be considered good. So
Yeah.
I think Thompson's just a tough matchup for him. I do think like the Thompson puts him in awkward spots, and he's not particularly good when it's like he's actually not. He's gotten better at the net, but he's not particularly good when he has to like
I would
hit
agree
from
with that.
like inside the baseline. Like I think he prefers to just go side to side.
Yeah, he's like the opposite of Bublik in this aspect, right? Whereas like in uncomfortable positions, he's not very good at improvising. I think
Yeah,
that's a good way to say it, right?
yeah,
Like he doesn't have that natural racket talent, right? So he actually needs to get his feet in position to hit the ball well, right?
yeah,
Whereas like a
yeah,
Bublik can kind of just improvise and put it, somewhere nasty, right? Like
yeah.
not even getting in right position. Alcaraz has some of that. Federer has some of that, right? Um, but yeah, I think that's a problem with Zverev. I agree, but that's not a reason why he should be losing to Daniel Altmaier, right?
But it is the reason why he loses to Jordan Thompson. I think.
Okay, okay, that's fair. I
Yeah, he
I
shouldn't
think
do this to
he,
Altmaier.
I think
I
he
think Altmaier was
prefers.
just again Altmaier like he played fine. I think he won like 40% of return points, held almost 70% of service points. Like those are good stats. He just again like couldn't he just couldn't play he just didn't play the big points well.
Might as well. Yeah,
Which is why I'm not like it's not like good, right? Like I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, it's a positive thing he lost to Danny Altmaier first round, but like not as worried about it. I'm like whatever.
okay.
And yeah, you're right. He does make matches. He makes matches the
So
past year and a
complicated.
half, he's made matches against weaker guys way too complicated.
Hope for Lucas Klein. I
Well, Klein
mean,
played a fantastic match, but
he did, but still,
that's not the only time. Like if that was the only
yeah,
time, it would make sense. It's pretty regular issue.
it's pretty regular. Yeah, exactly. Who else? Ben Shelton.
I mean, I don't know. Like I'm not particularly again like I don't think on a slow court like he's just not particularly good in long rallies, and he's not like he's look. I mean, I've said it. Like, he's getting better. Like you know what I mean. He's just not he's not quite like there yet, and so it's okay. Like he's progressing.
Yeah, Tidbits talked about it on the MP9 pod. Like he just, he goes for broke too early in points, I feel. And he's actually better when he's on the run. And I agree with his take. he's better when he's on the run because he has less time to think about it and he just kind of uses his athleticism to his advantage. Like when he's stuck in the middle of the court and he's like trying to play offense, he actually makes more errors because he has like more time to think about what he needs to do instead of just playing on like instinct and using his athletic ability.
I don't know. I think like he's better. He looks really good on the run. He's like compared to other players, he's way better on the run, right? Like he's
Mhm.
like he's actually pretty good on the run, whereas there's a lot of guys who are not good on the run, right? I think I hesitate to say that he's like actually a better player when he's on the run. I'm not sure that's true, but like I think like compared to other guys, like he's a better player on the run, if that makes sense.
But I don't think he harnesses his power correctly.
I mean, I think his tactics are quite like he still has a lot to work to do tactically, and I think it's
Yeah.
and I think ironically when he's on the run, I think you're right. Like he doesn't have as many choices, so it's like easier to make the right choice. And so even though it's like tougher shots, like it's not as big of a problem for him as it is for other guys. Whereas from like well, you're right, it is an issue for him that like he does make a lot of errors like unnecessarily. I think it's just bad touch. I think he just needs to like it's just like I think he's just raw. Like he has not played nearly as much tennis as the other guys he's playing against, and so that takes time to develop and learn.
But I don't necessarily think it's tactics more than it is like hitting more margin on, you know, shots in the middle of the court.
But that would be tactics, right? Like part of tactics is
That's
margin.
discipline. That's not tactics.
I don't know. I think it's a mix. I hear what you're saying. I think it's a mix. I get the take. It's not a ridiculous take.
And I actually think his serve is not as good as people make it out to be. Like it has a lot of power, but it's not the best placed serve. Like he doesn't ace like nearly as much as like a Hubie Hurkacz. Like if I had to pick between Hubie serve or Shelton serve, I pick Hubie's in a heartbeat. It's not even
Of course,
close.
but that's the best serve in the game. I mean, he's still got a top five, top 10 serve.
If I had to pick Bublik serve over Shelton serve, I pick Bublik serve.
That might be true, but well, ooh. In terms of an offensive serve, sure. I mean, Bublik throws in a shit ton of double faults, so
But
that's the only place I
Bublik
would go back.
throwing double faults is a choice that he makes because he goes big because he doesn't want to play a rally. If he would hit a regular second serve, it would be better than Shelton's. You know? So
Maybe.
I don't think
If he ever
Shelton's
hit a regular second serve, right, it's kind of hard to judge. Like, but
all right. What do you think of Shelton's prospects in Indian Wells? Like, is he a guy you're kind of
no,
fading?
I think slow courts are a problem for him. Like, it's just well, again, it's because of the rally. It's because of the challenges in long rallies. Because whether you want to call it tactics or discipline, like they go hand in hand a lot. So I can see where you were coming with the discipline
It's
take.
going to get problematic for him,
Either
especially
way,
if
it's
he
going to be a
plays a night
problem.
match.
Like the problem is like whether regardless of whether or not we're arguing is tactics or discipline, it has the same impact. It's kind of an irrelevant
Yeah,
argument. Like
true.
it's you know what I mean? It's
Good point.
like yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else we want to touch on in Acapulco?
I mean I thought Rude was good. And I think for Rude I think it's worth noting that he's not like he's not a good fast court player, but I think on slow courts he's okay. Like his movement isn't terrible on hard court. It's just that like he needs to be able to get that forehand, that spinny forehand to work like up. And if the court's not bouncy enough, and if it's too quick and the ball's too low, that forehand isn't as relevant, and he needs more time to run around and hit that forehand because like his backhand's just
Yeah.
not good enough.
Theoretically,
Like
he should be good in Indian Wells, right? It should be a good court for him because it's also a
yeah,
bouncy court.
it is a bouncy court. Yeah,
So, yeah, I think he should be okay. I think Rude is very similar to Sissipas in a way where they just have such blatant weaknesses. right? Like
Yeah.
if you approach to Rude's backhand, he's not going to be able to hit a backhand pass to save his life with just any decent, well, has to have some decent depth and pace. But all these guys,
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're going a little overboard with it, but you're not wrong.
yeah, right? Like if I was playing him like as like a 4.5 UTR or 4.5 USTA guy or like a 8 UTR, I just hit every ball kind of aggressively to the backhand and see if he could beat me. Like
Well, and
obviously
I think there's a problem. I think there's a real problem with having that particular weakness in that, like, 70% of juniors have that weakness. So if if a guy has a different weakness, like if a guy has a weakness on like short balls from where, like, we talk about this all the time. I think there's actually a fair number of pros that struggle with like a low short ball inside the baseline, kind of near like the edge of the service box, like near
yeah,
the back corner of the service box or a little bit behind there. But like it's a hard weakness to exploit because like guys don't practice it that much.
right,
Like juniors coming up, like every junior has a crap backhand. So like if you need to win a match and if you're struggling, like the first thing you do as a junior is like, oh, maybe I'll target the backhand some more. So like if that's your exploitable weakness, it's like one of the more exploitable weaknesses out there in a rally.
right. I'm not saying that as a 8 UTR I would beat Casper Ruud. Like I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like playing at that level, I could still probably see a guy's weakness, you know, and it's
It's a
so
very
blatant.
blatant and
It's
exploitable
very
weakness. I think the biggest thing is it's a very
exploitable,
exploitable weakness. Like,
right?
because like you can say, okay, I'm just gonna hit, like you can go in with a pre-match game plan. If I'm gonna try to hit as many balls as I can to this guy's backhand. Like, and honestly, like beyond that, it's hard to execute a lot of game plans. Like it's
Mhm.
hard to execute a game plan that says I'm gonna hit like more short angles against this guy because you can't short angle every ball.
Right,
You can't short angle most balls. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then you can't, like every time you have an opportunity to short angle, you can't short angle else he's gonna
yeah.
know. So like it's a harder one to, it's really difficult, like in the heat of the moment to execute that. Like hitting
But
to a
this is
different
exploitable.
side, it's pretty exploitable.
It is. It is. Sissy Paws too, right? It's very exploitable.
It's the similar. It's essentially the same weakness. Like they have
Yeah.
different strokes on the backhand side, and then they have different games, but it's essentially the same weakness.
And their forehands are world class, right? I think the fact that they're ranked where they are is a testament to how great their forehands are. Like I
I
think
mean,
it's just
and
a better
honestly,
forehand in the
like
game.
I think we have to give both these guys a little bit more credit too. Like they do a good job of using the forehand. They do a good job of like working, working when they
Yeah.
can, working their way around to the forehand. They're both pretty mentally tough. Like we make fun of Tsitsipas a lot on this podcast, but in matches he's actually pretty like mentally tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, he was clearly the worst player against Demonor, right? Like the first set was just all bad Demonor in that quarterfinal, right?
I mean honestly, so I think we have to give credit to Demonor there though, because like I mean I said this sarcastically in our Discord after the match, but I meant it.
Yeah.
It was I said it sarcastically, but I meant it truthfully. Like like that was like Demonor did not play well. That was a crap match the whole match.
It was. Yeah.
But
I agree.
like Demonor figured out like what he had to do to win that match. And like good on him for doing that. Like that's like
Hmm.
that's part of winning in like
Yeah, and he
professional
won
tennis or
ugly.
sports. Yeah.
Won ugly, but I
But
mean,
he still
I
won, right? He still like he advanced in the tournament and Tsitsipas didn't. So
but the fact that Sissipas has that exploitable weakness is kind of what paid off, you know?
yeah, for
Like
sure.
if he didn't have that clearly exploitable weakness, I'm not sure if Demonor gets through that, right? Because he didn't play particularly well in that match either. So,
For
um,
sure, man.
yeah. So that does it in Acapulco and Santiago. I guess we have to touch on the 250 King, Sebi Baez.
Sure. Here's the problem, right? Like we talked about this last week. Like,
Yeah,
so I was thinking about this. So the NCAA basketball tournament is coming up, right?
right.
And so I was thinking of Sebi Baez and like, what is Sebi Baez? He's like a 19-14 college basketball team that like plays well at home and is like 1-7 against the top 50. And like, yeah, it's a good team, but like it's not a great
Right.
team. You know what I mean? Like it's somebody who like And yeah, it's like maybe it's a hard working team where they have a veteran backcourt. I don't know, like
He's
whatever
like the
college basketball
he's
is.
like the guy that wins the in-season or the team that wins the in-season tournament and then flunks out in the first round of the NBA playoffs.
Yeah,
Right?
and because they're just not like that good, not because like they don't try hard, not because they don't play defense, like they're just like
Yeah.
they're like a decent six seed, they're like a six seed or whatever, or a seven seed, and they're just like not like, but they get swept because they're just not that good at no. That's what actually that's what he's like the teams, he's like the Bulls teams back in like the 2010s. They used to like do great in the regular season, and then they
Yeah.
would do terrible in the playoffs. The Thibodeau teams because like they just weren't that good. They were like, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like they were only good in their element. And I think like that's the next step for Sebi as a tennis player is to like, okay, let's develop like his footwork. By the way, his footwork is sweet on the clay.
Yes.
His footwork,
Amazing.
especially that forehand, is sweet. But like he's got to develop that movement on a hard court. And he's got to develop, and I don't know if he ever can get there because I think he's a ways away, but
Hmm.
develop enough of a game to at least occasionally beat like top 10, 15 guys. Like 2 and
Yeah.
21 against the top 50 is not like, or not
Yeah.
top 50, top 20. 2 and 21 against the top 20 is like, this is all you'll ever be. It's just a 250 king of clay.
Right. Right. But let's
Um,
give him credit where credit is due, though. Like he beat the guys in front of him in straight weeks, won two straight tournaments, racked up 750 points. Like we can't fault him for it, right? Like we just
no, but
want
he is who
the
he
next
is. Like,
step.
my point is like, he, like, this, my opinion of Sebi Baez has not changed in the past 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like I knew he was good on clay. I knew he was good at beating up competition at his level or lower on clay courts. He spent 2 more weeks showing that he can beat up
Yeah.
competition at his level or lower on clay courts.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's see it in like Barcelona or, Monte Carlo.
yeah,
Can he make a quarterfinal even? Like that would impress me.
right. Like, yeah, he
Right?
doesn't have to win like slams to take a next step. Like, he just needs to like make a
Yeah.
fourth round or a quarter of a slam. Needs to,
I agree with you.
make a quarter of a master, something like that. Yeah, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, I agree with you. He has shown slight improvement on hard court, and like theoretically, a slower hard court is probably better for him, right? So
I don't actually know because I actually don't think like he's moving a little bit better on hardcore, but for him, I don't think it's strokes. They're the problem. I think it's movement on the hardcore. He just doesn't like his footwork on clay is sweet, man. Like he's got some of the best footwork on the game on clay,
yeah,
especially getting to that forehand. Like he's just not as quick on hard courts.
he's in a little section with Fonini and Zapata Morales. Like he should beat either of those guys, and then probably play Fritz in the third round, and that's probably where it ends for him. But like if
Yeah,
he
hopefully he
gives
could get.
Fritz
I mean,
a good match and like pushes him to like a third set even, like that would impress me.
yeah, that would be a start.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
So anyone else who want to touch on Santiago? Tabilo?
yeah. I mean, you got to touch on him, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's had a really good year so far. You know what I
He
mean? He
has, yeah.
cashed the 240 futures. So that was exciting on the quarter futures, which was, I mean, we got a little bit lucky that Juan took out Hoffman for us because that was the real
Yeah, that would have been
there.
tougher. Yep.
But yeah, that got me. I think who would he have to take out? Like Vera and like I guess he had to beat Darderi, so I guess he had to beat
Or
somebody.
Derry. But still easy for a plus 240, like for a guy at home, like that
Yeah,
was a great price.
yeah.
Great
I mean,
price.
honestly, his run to this finals was beating Vera, Darderi, and Mutet. And Darderi, I didn't think
Yeah.
looked very good. Darderi looked pretty gassed out on that match. I think he just played
Yeah.
way too much. I mean, not it's his fault, right? He won a tournament and like he qualified and won a tournament. So like good for him, but like he did play a lot of tennis
How
leading up
about
to that event.
Corentin Mute doing the Djokovic celebration after beating Yari?
Yeah, yeah,
That guy. That guy.
that guy.
Yeah. Well, we joke around that he struts around like he's won 24 Grand Slams, and then he actually does the celebration of a 24-time Grand Slam champion, right? So it's like exactly what we
Uh,
said is what
I know it's pretty
would
funny.
happen.
It's pretty funny.
It was funny. But other than that, not too much to talk
Oh, and the
about.
courts are terrible in Santiago. They really need to
Yeah.
fix those courts. Like it's a really like for an ATP 250, it was a pretty substandard performance by the tennis courts.
By the tennis courts.
No, I
Right.
mean, I don't know, man. Like we talk about it all the time. Like it's kind of like there's like I'd say like a solid quarter of these 250s have just like unacceptable like facility situations.
Let's
Like
see if
Marrakesh without flooding out last year. Like that's
yeah,
not that
let's
can't
see if
like
Marquette
how
has better courts.
yeah, I'm not sure. But like, like we got to do better, right? ATP tour, like we got to be a little more serious and do a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the clubs that we play at have better courts, I
I
feel.
mean, or there's the tiny court. What is it? Auckland that has like the tiny little indoor court they have to go to when it rains. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a lot of these courts are like, I don't know, man. Like it's really like if I can think of and find better courts in New Jersey, like ATP should be able to find some better courts. Like,
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Without further ado, I guess we should get right into
should we
Indian
take a quick
Wells.
2 minute break?
Sure.
You
Sounds
don't mind?
good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. So we're back to preview the first Masters 1000 of the season, aka the fifth slam in Indian Wells. So let's go over the conditions. Let's go over the courts. Slow, right?
The only caveat I would add to that, like, so I had two caveats: high bouncing,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other caveat I would add is that like the time of day really matters here because the
Yep.
temperature drop at night in California it's in the desert, so it's like
Right.
the temperature drop off is like 30 degrees Fahrenheit. That converts to like what it is like 15, 16 degrees Celsius. Like it's a pretty significant drop, and so the court plays really slow at night.
It does. It
Like in the
does.
day, it actually plays like I don't know, maybe like medium slow. It still plays pretty slow, but it doesn't play. But during the day, it plays a little bit more reasonably. At night, it plays like really. It might be one of the slowest courts. It might be the slowest court on the tour at night. I don't know. Maybe Cabo is slower. Cabo is probably slower, but like in Acapulco might be slower. But there's not too many that are slower for sure. It's definitely in the top 5, 10 of
For
slowest
sure.
courts.
Wind could play a factor here. You got to look at the wind because it's the
But there's
desert.
not much wind in the forecast this year. I'd like check this out. I don't know if you check this out, Manny. Like at least when I checked out the forecast, I didn't see too much wind. But I agree with you. Wind can generally play a factor here.
So I went to this tournament twice so far. And when I was driving from LA to Palm Springs one year, it was super windy. Like it was like windy to the point where I almost had to stop on the road because like sand was hitting my windshield.
Yeah.
It was super windy. So I was like, damn, and then I was at the tennis event when it was also really windy and like, it was like 40-mile-per-hour gusts. So it could just kind of happen out of nowhere and then just like get calm all of a sudden because like it's like smack in the middle of a desert. So you do get those desert conditions.
I don't disagree with that statement. I'm just saying the
Yeah,
forecast for this
for this
particular
week.
coming week at least does not call for that. It calls
Okay.
for winds, pretty much less than 10 miles an hour all week.
Okay. All right.
So should be pretty safe there. Again, temperatures are nice during the a little but like again at night, like
Sure.
cools down. Like, and I don't know, I don't really, it's hard to find data like this. And so it's honestly hard to like get enough even like night match data on guys, but like I don't know if there's guys out there that like playing in like, you know, that feel differently in different temperatures, like regardless of court speed. But it gets pretty cold at night in in this
It
desert
does. Yeah,
condition.
it's like 50s, low
Yeah.
50s.
I don't know if it'll get like that cold during any of the tennis. I know they play a night session, but I don't think they're playing past midnight too often.
They don't. They start the night session at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's a very dayish sort of area to begin with. Like the nightlife isn't that great there anyway to begin with.
Yeah.
It's just like everything is done during the day. Like people wake up really early, they play tennis in the morning, they'll go watch tennis and they'll leave at like 3 o'clock, play around the golf, grab a early dinner, and then, it's a very dayish kind of town. There's
Yeah.
not much going on at night. So they try to end, I feel like latest 10 o'clock.
Do they
So
only play one session in the night session? One match in the night session?
no, they
They
play
go
two, but they start at 6. So they'll have like 6 to 8 and 8 to 10. Whereas
yeah, so
most,
it should usually end by 10 unless you get like back to
yeah,
back long three
right,
setters.
exactly, exactly. Most
The
times
other
I,
interesting thing is Piranha, I know when our chat on our Discord posted, like it's been really heavy on unders last 2 years.
Mhm.
Really heavy. I think almost like 60%, like 50, like over 55%
That's an
unders.
interesting takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
mean,
I
I
think
can
is
see
really
why.
interesting
There
if
are
we look at
probably
the
going to be a
first
lot of
game.
breaks, right?
Well, that's why, right? It's a lot of break. Yeah, it's hard to hold serve. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we won't play that many overs, but maybe the 3-set line, if you think it's going to go over, right, is probably the better way to go.
Yeah, I think and looking at the lines, we'll look at the lines in more depth. I'm not seeing a whole lot of movement off the standard lines, which kind of surprises me
Okay.
for the first round.
All right. So let's take a look at the draw. Share the screen here.
Oh, I guess one other thing to mention, that I did want to bring up:
Mm-hmm.
5 of the last 6 champions here have not been one of the top 5 seeds.
Okay.
Fritz, Nori. So last year Garcia won it. Year before that, Fritz, Nori, Team, Del Potro, and then Federer won as a 9 seed in
Did you say
2017.
Garcia?
I did.
All right. Fair enough. All right.
I'm trying to create some good vibes, right? Like the Alcaraz hasn't done great the last 8 months, so we're gonna call him. If we call him Garcia, maybe he'll pick up the game.
Did you like study Alcaraz's family tree before the pod or something? Or like
No, it's just listed on several websites as Alcaraz Garcia. So I figured I'd throw that in there, see if you picked up on it or not.
all right. Yeah,
Actually, sometimes on the betting websites, depending on where you bet, like Bet Online will call it like Garcia. It'll sometimes be like Carlos Garcia. It'll be like those go like Holger Vitras no scope Rune.
yeah, I've seen that with Holger Rune. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Juan Pablo Samudio.
Yeah, some
Yeah, so there's some good ones out there.
there are. All right. So going over the top section of the draw, these guys will start playing on Thursday. So the bottom half will play Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and the top half will play Thursday, Saturday, Monday, I believe.
Interesting.
So let's go over the top half first. Djokovic will play the winner of Mochizuki against Vukic. Kovacevic will play Zhizhen Zhang. Echeverry is the 30 seed. He'll get the bye there too. Then we got Tommy Paul will play the winner of Michelson and Munar. Ethan Quinn qualified. He will play Patrick Kipson. And the winner will play the Dubai champion Ugo Humbert. Then we got Casper Ruud will play the winner of Moreno del Alboran against Lucas Klein, 2 qualifiers. Arthur Feast, the struggling Arthur Feast, will play Nuno Borges, and that winner will play Fokina. Then we got Nori will play the winner of Sonego Kecmanovic, and then Monfils and Purcell the winner of that match will play Hubie Hurkacz. So what catches your eye here on first glance?
So from a betting perspective, I think it's gonna be a tough quarter just because like I don't know what Djokovic is. I don't know if quarter prices are out yet anywhere. I haven't seen any quarter price. I've seen some outrights, I haven't seen any quarter prices. Um but I think a couple guys who I'm looking at from like a draw perspective, I think have a chance to do well here. Okay, we might have some. No, just some to reach the finals.
Yeah.
I think some guys who might have a chance here, like and maybe they're better rollover guys or guys who just have a good insurance guys I'm gonna look at. So Tommy Paul is the first guy. He played pretty well in the American, the Delray Beach, and then
Dallas. Well, you won Dallas and then made the final Delray.
yeah, and he lost to Fritz in the final, which is certainly not a bad loss. I think it was a 3-setter. So he's definitely a guy I'm looking at. I think that's a pretty weak section, to be honest. Especially with Humbert coming off just a lot of tennis and it being a slower
But he's
court.
had time off.
Only like 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, he won't play his first
He won't play
match.
until Saturday. So 6 days. I don't think it's so much of a travel spot. It's just a lot of tennis, right? Even giving it a week off is just a lot. Like it's not Dubai. It's in fact Dubai.
To me, it's more the conditions.
I think it's for me it's a mix of both. But either way, like I think I'd be interested to see what Tommy Paul can do here. Because I think and like Tommy Paul has played some of the top guys tough. I beat Alcaraz in Toronto. So I don't know, man. I don't know how we feel about Djokovic. Like we just haven't seen him in a while, you know.
Yeah,
So
I'm not too high on Djokovic, to be honest. Like I already have a futures bet here, which we'll get into after we go
an outright or a
outright.
quarters.
Outright.
Okay. Right.
We'll talk about that, but
Yeah.
I'm not too high on Djokovic. I mean, like it's an easy draw. I think Zhang is definitely the guy which could present the most problems for Djokovic. And I think slower courts actually help Zhang as he has more time to wind up those big ground strokes, and he likes a high bouncing court as well. And he can hit through slow conditions. Like he has the power to do so. Not I love Etch, but like coming off that injury that he had in Buenos Aires, I'm not too confident in him. So, but I think overall it's a pretty easy section for Djokovic. Um,
Yeah, I don't think you could ask for much better. I mean, honestly, like being a one seed, you usually get pretty easy sections. Like the 25 to 32, there's just a pretty significant drop off. But yeah, I don't think
yeah.
there's a particularly like again, I think the dangerous guy here is Paul. I think Paul's got a real shot here to do something.
So if Paul and Humbert play in the third round, what price do you get put on that match?
I would put Paul as the favorite.
Really? Okay.
But it would be
Not
pretty
me.
close.
I put Humbert as a slight favorite.
Okay. I mean, I think I agree with you. I think right now Umber's playing the better tennis, but I don't think the gap is that big. And there's conditions, plus there's some small benefit for Paul of being an American on an American court.
I would need to see when that match is played because, like, if that match is played at night, I'd say advantage Paul. If it's played during the day, I say advantage Humbert.
So you think it's that close then?
But I think, like, if I was the book, I would put Humbert as a slight favorite, probably like plus Paul at like plus 120, Humbert at like minus
Ooh,
140.
I think that's. I mean, I think that's just. I mean, I think to have either guy at plus 120 here is crazy. Like, I think it's just a lot. I mean, I don't know that I have either guy more than even money. I think this is pretty close to pick.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking about both two guys who are in the top 20 in the world. Like Umber's 14 and Paul's what, like 18 or
I don't
19?
know. I can't really trust Paul after what he did against Draper. That was a pretty dull performance.
But if Paul makes the third round, like I don't know, Paul, I don't know, Paul throws in the occasional dud. And he seems to
Michelson
really
could
throw a
be
bunch.
tricky. Michelson could be tricky.
If he beats Munar,
He'll beat Menor. I guess that's a bet for you.
we'll
Because
talk about
that's
it.
a pretty big dog. I guess that's
We'll
a
talk
bet.
about it.
All right. Sounds good. And then this bottom section here, I mean, I
This is
think
a different quarter, right? Or no, it's not.
no, it's
It's
the
the same
same
quarter.
quarter,
Yeah. You
but
know who I'm
that
gonna
one's
like
hard to
here,
hit.
Manny. There's a guy I'm gonna like here. You know who's gonna be.
Where's Wanma? I don't see Wanma.
Juan is not in this tournament. He's in Argentina. He's playing in a challenger.
The guy you're
No.
gonna like here is, don't tell me it's Fokina.
What? Fokina's like a flower. Needs sun, little water, no wind to blow over, light, and it can flourish. And these are perfect conditions for Fokina to flourish.
He's a flower. He needs a lot of sun and a lot of water. He's not going to get much water in the desert, though.
It's okay. They have water in the courts. I'm not too worried. I'm more worried about the sun and then the sun and the sunlight and the lack of wind. You can have wind blowing things over. Like
So Fokina's your guy here?
I'd be interested to see a quarter price on him. Like if you give me like if I can get it like something above 20 to 1 to win the quarter, I think he becomes interesting. I'm not seeing, I mean, I don't know my hit prices. It's probably more like the 30 to 40 to win the quarter range. And I don't think he's really much of a chance of winning the tournament, but there might be a quarter price out there. If quarter prices come out that I'd be interested in him at. I just like if you look at his draw, I don't think his draw is that like I mean, Feast, if you go back to his draw, Manny. So like Feast is struggling mightily right now.
Yeah, he is.
Borges, I know he beat Fokina last time, but that should not happen. I mean, like if Fokina is mentally in the
Good.
match, that should not happen. And then after that, it gets tough, right? Like obviously Rue's a tough player, like no doubt, but like it could be worse. So yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think it's that. I think it's reasonable. Draw.
So
I'm not saying I.
I have
Yeah.
a money line rollover guy here that might surprise you. And it's Lucas Klein.
Okay.
All right. I think He can. I think it's probably going to be pretty close to pick against Moreno de Albaran. He'll probably be a favorite, Klein. But
I
then
would think he should be a pretty significant favorite. I'm not sure if Moreno
yeah, okay,
Dahlgren is that
he'll
good.
be a favorite. But then I like him against Casper Ruud because I think he has a big enough game where he can pressure that backhand. And he has a
I
big.
get why you would like him. He's just he's a tough guy to pick. Like he's a tough guy. I mean, he's another guy who's like he's got to make balls. Like it just depends whether
Yeah,
you make enough balls.
but he's qualified here. He's used to the conditions. And then like against Fokina or Feast, like I would take my chances of with Klein as like a plus 250 dog. Like I think that's an interesting look. Like I don't think Rude and Fokina are shoe-ins to make like the fourth round here, especially Fokina. Like I think Borges could beat him. I think Fees, if he catches fire, like he could. And Fokina can throw in a dud. I don't know, I think
Yeah,
it's a
I don't know. I think these are pretty good. These are pretty good Fokina conditions, and like I feel
okay.
like you might be able to actually find some value there. Well, we'll see what I'll see quarter price. Like the price for him to win outright is not too interesting to me because there's so many good guys in this term. I don't really see
Yeah.
like, but an outright price would be interesting,
I
or a
think
quarter
I'll do
price would
the
be interesting.
rollover with Klein for 2 rounds and see where it lands me, where
Okay.
it's up. So, um, now I know this bottom little section here, MP9 is all over the Sonago rollover. Do you like that?
No, Sanago hasn't been that good recently.
He hasn't. Um, but that being said, like Kecmanovic hasn't been good either, and Nori hasn't been good either, and like I don't think these are good conditions for Hubie at all, right?
I
Um,
hear the argument. I just don't like. I don't really have any interest in anybody in this section. Like, if anybody would be interested in this section, it might be Monfils.
Monfils, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that would be part of the argument, right? For the Fokina pick. And it's not even a pick yet, but like for the Fokina pick would be like, there's really nobody else in this section who I like.
Yeah,
Like,
but
and,
you got
and
to
to be fair,
remember
I
if
looked at
you
it like Klein's not a bad look, Manny. Like I looked at it before the qualifiers were placed. Klein's not a bad look either, ironically, but like, um, yeah.
but you got to remember that Djokovic is in this quarter. So if you're playing Fokina, like he would play Djokovic in the quarterfinals.
Well, that's why I don't know that I like that's part of why I don't know that I love an outright price because like to ask him to beat like three top 10 guys seems like just a lot of potential for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
But like if I'm getting like 30 plus, like I'm not doing this at like 10 to 1, right? Like this needs to be like 30 to 1, 35 to 1, like I don't know, something like that to win the quarter. And at that level, like heck, if I get to Djokovic and if it even ends up being Djokovic, and maybe Djokovic goes out to Zhang, maybe something else, like maybe he goes out to Tommy Paul, like who knows? And then if none of that happens, like, okay, fine. I have to hedge out on my, or either I have to hedge out or I have to roll with Fokina in one match against Djokovic at 30 to 1. It's not that bad.
I mean, if you're looking for a time to fade Djokovic, I mean, this is not such a bad time to do it because he really hasn't had a good year. Usually we're so used to him coming into March or April winning the Australian Open,
It's
right?
been one tournament. It's one, I mean,
But he
it's
didn't have
one
a good
bad
United
tournament.
Cup.
What?
He didn't have a good United Cup, right? Um, I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I guess any court is good for Djokovic, right? Like,
I don't disagree with the statement that Djokovic might be a guy to fade. Um, I just have a hard time like with it, but it's always like we joke about it all the time. Like Djokovic is a part-time player. So I guess you're right. I guess he hasn't had a good year so far because like this is what 2 months of play looks like for Djokovic. It's just not very much data to go on.
yeah, and he's
But
more
that's
likely to
generally the rule
lose in
with Djokovic.
best of three than best of five, right?
Yeah.
So, but who are guys that can trouble him here? Zhang, okay.
Paul.
Paul, Humbert,
Yeah. I'll say Foki. Foki's troubled him in the past. I think Foki can. I mean, he might mentally blow up and not get through mentally, but like physically he can.
okay.
And
And then,
Hubie if he serves really well.
right, and that's tougher on these courts.
I'm not saying he yeah, although Hubie's not been Did he make a quarter here or a semi?
He made a quarter here in
Yeah.
2020. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I mean there are a couple guys that can potentially push him, but yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not going to hit Djokovic on a quarter price, right? Because it's probably going to be like minus what?
Well,
175
the outright is 185 that I saw last, which is awful, but I have no interest in that.
plus
So the
180.
quarter price has got to be, yeah, now it's down to 175. So the quarter price has got to be worse than that. Yeah.
To reach the final, it's minus 110.
Yeah. So the quarter price would be terrible. Yeah. I mean, I think like if I get like even money on him to win a quarter, to win the quarter, I think that would be like reasonable at that point. Just he's so much better than everybody else in the quarter. But I mean, clearly you're not getting that. So yeah, I need to fade him. Yeah. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
tough with who to fade him with because like from a betting
right.
perspective, like there's not a whole lot of great, like there's not a great second option. And then like, given the vig and everything, like I don't know that anybody like I can't pick anybody who's a great pick it like to go against him with. Like Paul, I think is outright at like 80 to 1, which is like I think pretty close to a decent price. But that's to win the events. It's gonna have to be a lot of good guys. And again, it's Tommy Paul. Like, is he really gonna get through mentally like three good guys in a row? Like,
Yeah.
well, um, that's why I'm
Wins.
hoping quarter prices come out because I think like Paul or Foki could be an interesting quarter pick, but I don't think they're a very good outright pick.
Okay.
Like, who would be? I mean, would you would never play like Zhang on an outright here, would you? Because you kind of talked him up, and I'm sure you wouldn't play Klein on an outright.
No.
So it's all just money line rollover stuff, which might
Money
be the
line
same for
rollover for a
Hyman, to
couple
be
matches.
honest.
I mean, I think Zhang is a decent option too, playing Kovacevic and then Echeverry,
Yeah,
because he'll probably be a slight dog against Echeverry.
you'd think.
So, I mean, I'm tempted to play on Bear. I got to see the price on Bear. I'm high on him. I want to stay away, but if I get a decent enough price on him, I think I might pounce.
What's a decent enough price?
For him to win the quarter,
Yeah.
I would say 20 to 1.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
All right, let's move on to the second quarter. So we got Medvedev. He's the number 4 seed. He'll have a bye. He'll play the winner of Flavio Capoli again and RCB, Roberto Carballes Baena. Then we got Roman Safulin will play Dan Evans. That winner will play Sebi Korda. We got Adrian Manarino will play the winner of Stan Wawrinka and Tomas Machak. Hugo G, qualifier, who I won two bets on in qualies.
Hugo G's been pretty good this year, man.
Has been good quietly. Like he's undervalued by the market.
Yeah.
He'll play Alexander Muller, and the winner of that match will play Grigor Dimitrov. Then in the bottom section of that quarter, we got the 2022 champ Taylor Fritz will play the winner of Pavel Kotov and Alejandro Tabilo. Then Fonini and Zapata Morales, talk about two guys that are struggling. The
Well,
winner,
Cornelius is just old. I don't know that he's struggling. He's
yeah,
just old.
yeah, will play Sebi Baez.
Yeah.
Then Lorenzo Musetti will play the winner of VDZ and Shapovalov. Raonic and Nadal. That's a first round match. Two guys with protected rankings will play. The winner of that match will play Holger Rune. So, man, a lot of guys, especially in this bottom half, that are just A, not very good on hard, B, and B, just have a ton of question marks. And or C, struggling. Like Nadal and Raonic, tons of question marks with both guys. Shapo, question mark. VDZ, struggling. Musetti, struggling. Zapata, struggling. Like, even Fritz, I guess, to an extent, lost first round in Acapulco. So I don't know. Monorino, not very good on slow courts. He's a guy you probably want to fade here. Medvedev to me has question marks. I don't know. I think it's a weak quarter. I think it's the weakest quarter of the draw.
I disagree with that statement.
Okay.
But I see where you're going with. Because I think like so ironically, there's a whole bunch of like interesting kind of floaters here, though, right? Like this whole top section is all kind of interesting, with the exception of Baena, who's just not very good on hard. But like the rest of these guys are interesting, I think. Like
Mhm.
Kaboli has like some skills. I don't think he's actually gonna beat Medvedev, but like he's kind of interesting for an unseeded dude here. Saffield and Evans are always interesting. They're two of the better unseeded players in almost any tournament they enter. Um, I know neither one's playing particularly well right now, but I think they're both interesting. Like, compared to most of the other unseeded guys. Um, and then Korda is not like he's not. I don't know if there's anything particularly exciting going on with Korda right now, but like he seems to have a good matchup with Medvedev, and like if he gets to that third round, which he probably should against Medvedev, I think that could be interesting.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I think like that's it. I think it's like I don't know. So I think those guys are interesting, and then if you scroll to the next section, like I think Makac is pretty interesting.
I agree.
Um, so yeah, I think there's a lot of like, a lot of like again, like it's
I think this top section of this quarter is way better than the bottom section of the quarter.
so I guess the only two exceptions I would make are the two highest seeded guys. So like Rune should be good, I think, on slower courts. Like his game should suit slower courts well.
Hmm.
I know there's a lot of question marks about coaching and it's just a lot of question marks with him in general. But like I don't know, these should suit him well. And like this is probably like Fritz's favorite place in the world to play.
Probably.
And we know Fritz plays better on American hard courts.
Okay.
So I think and look, he beat Tsitsipas at the Australian Open, made a quarter. Like, I don't know, man. I'd say it's hard to say that like Fritz is that bad. Like
What
we do
price
a lot
would
of
you
Taylor
need on
Fritz hating on
Fritz?
this.
What price would you need on Fritz to win this quarter?
Um, maybe 5-1. Because like Medvedev made, I mean, like I think you have to price in, and this may be like I'll probably get nailed by somebody if somebody listens to this. I'll probably get nailed for this comment, but there could be a matchup thing there with Korda and Medvedev. Like, there's a chance that Medvedev, and to your point, like Medvedev didn't look like I don't know, man. Like the second round match, he should win, but that third round match could get tricky. Even if it's not Korda, if it's Safulin or Evans, like that may not be that easy. Like, there's a chance Medvedev doesn't make it to the quarters to
Agreed. And I
play.
think Machak and Dimitrov could be tricky too.
Yeah, like there's a chance that it's not like there's a chance that Fritz doesn't have to play Medvedev in the quarters, and he gets one of these other guys who'd be favored against.
Right. Yeah, I would probably hit Fritz at 5-1 to win the quarter. Just also because he's been so good at this event.
Yeah, I mean, he's a champ 2 years ago, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. Because Rune is definitely beatable. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Nadal could potentially beat him. No? Like I think
maybe,
Nadal's live in that match against Holger.
maybe.
So that'd probably be on
I
Saturday.
don't want to make any comments about Nadal. I mean, I don't really care how well he looked in the Netflix slam. Like that means nothing to me.
Yeah,
So
no, it's an exhibition. Means nothing.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So we got Andrei Rublev. He'll play the winner of Andy Murray and David Goffin, who qualified. Chris Eubanks will play Brandon Nakashima, and the winner of that match will play Yuri Lehechka. Then we got the struggling Francis Tiafoe will play either Dusan Lajovic or Emil Risabori. Luca Pui, who I faded in the two qualifying matches and ended up qualifying anyway, and he'll play Daniel Altmaier, and the winner of that match will play Stefanos Tsitsipas. Then we got Ben Shelton. He'll play the winner of Jakub Mensik and Hong, who qualified. Shelton Mensick, that looks like a very interesting potential second round match.
I mean, Mensik could lose the first round.
Yeah, we'll get into that match. I don't think he will. I don't know. I think these courts are good for Hong because Hong is like a counter puncher and it's harder to get the ball past him. If that match is played at night, I think that's tougher for Mensick, but I think Mensick will get through it. But
I think he will, but I don't think it's at all a certainty is my point. Like, I
okay.
think Hong is very live there.
So I'm guessing you're gonna have a bet there.
I haven't seen a line yet for that match, but I mean I'm hoping to have a bet there.
Okay. All right. Then Shevchenko will play Dominic Kopfer, and the winner of that match will play Francisco Cerundolo. Then we got Jan-Lennard Struff. He will play the winner of Koric and Offner. Then we got Kokonakis and Giron will play Yannick Sinner. So what catches your eye in this quarter here?
I mean, I think this looks pretty clean for a Sinner Rublev match again, is my take. I don't really see like I mean, yeah, I guess Shelton's always dangerous, but that's really the only thing I see in the way. But Hechka's is always dangerous too. But like in terms of like relative to like what the competition could be, I think it's pretty clean for another Sinner Rublev rematch.
MP9 made this point that Lechka hasn't been good in America.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought. Well, didn't he make a pretty good run on Winston-Salem, Lechka?
Oh yeah, that's true. He did make the final there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. I think Tiafo, Tiafo has semifinal points to defend here. So he could be out of the top 30 potentially.
I mean, I don't really know that I care about point. Like, Toughest looks so bad. I don't know that I really care about points to defend or like being on American soil. Really, anything right now with him. It's just
Yeah, it
like it's
doesn't
gonna be so
matter.
bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Home
Yeah,
crowd, like nothing matters now. He's just playing terribly.
yeah,
I wonder what the line would be if he plays Rusevori in that second round. Because
yeah. I mean, it could be a spot to back Rustavori. It's just
oh,
yeah, it
100%.
could be actually it could be a good spot. I mean, if you get him as a good dog, if you get him as like a plus 150 dog, that'd be kind of nice.
I'd probably take him at Pick'em. I'd take Rusevori.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I get it. We can hate on Tiafoe because he's struggling, but I hate taking Savoy ever as a favorite, even as a pick. Like for me, I just wait for him as a dog. Like oh,
Yeah, I don't think Rusevori will be favored there, but
I don't think he will be there. I mean, I think we'll probably both end up backing because like I don't need a whole lot of dog money to take Savoy there, but I probably just I don't know. It's just like there's a principle that
yeah.
tells me like don't back Savoy as a favorite because it's just like he could go out and make 70 unforced errors and it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net.
Now, interesting thing here. Do you like Shevchenko or Kopfer as a rollover candidate?
Do I
Just
have a bet
because
on
of
that
how much
match? Can't even
Cerundolo is
remember.
struggling?
What'd you say?
Just because of how much Cerundolo is struggling.
Yeah, I mean, I like yeah, so the answer to your question, I like well, trying to think. The problem is I don't like either guy on that line. Like I think that line is close enough to well set that I'd rather not bet on either guy in the first round. So like so like I'll probably bet whoever wins against Rindle in the second round, but I'm just not gonna bet in the first round.
Okay. Fair.
But we can talk about that match. I have a couple interesting things to bring up about that match.
Okay. And then yeah, I don't see anyone that can trouble Sinner here.
No, no.
Yeah. All right, moving on to that bottom section.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, the answer is the guy that gets trouble center in that quarter is Rublev.
Yes. Well, in that
Like
in
Rublev's been, I
that
mean, like,
sense.
look, let's be clear. Like Rublev's been very competitive with Sinner every time they've played. Even
Agreed.
the Australian Open match was very competitive for two sets. Rublev was up what 5-1 in the second set tiebreak. Like if he wins that tiebreak, it could be that's a competitive match.
100%.
And especially in a best of three, like I don't think like I would give Rublev at least a 1 out of 3 chance in that match.
I'd agree with that. And then in Vienna, it was like 5-5, I believe. They played
Yeah, like they've been
last
very
year.
competitive. Like Rublev is
Yeah,
not Rublev is not a schmuck.
No.
And slow courts, slow hard courts are great for Rublev.
Yeah, although Sinner played Rublev in like the fourth round last year in Miami, which is also a slow court. It's different conditions, but he brushed him aside. So, like, I think
Yeah, but
Sinner,
I feel like that was a weird one-off. I don't know, man. I feel like the rivalry's been pretty competitive. I mean, like, I don't think Rublev's ever beaten Sinner outside of retirements, but it's they've had a lot of close matches.
has Sinner beat any of the top? Well, he's beaten Medvedev a couple times in like World Tour finals and stuff, and like Cincinnati, I think once. But what's his record against those top four guys combined?
No, I think Sinner's pretty fine. Like, I think he's done fine against Rublev. Rublev has the one who has a hard time beating Sinner. Are you saying Rublev has the hard time against the
Yeah,
top five or
what's
Sinner?
what's Rublev's win?
Oh, Rublev. Okay, I thought you said
Yeah,
Sinner. Okay,
I don't know.
it's a good question. So Rublev, it's not good. That's the only problem.
No, it's definitely not good. I think the only one he's beat is
I want to say he's beaten Medvedev a couple times, but I can't remember.
yeah, and then I think he beat Sinner like from retirement.
He beat Sinner twice when Sinner retired. I think he's like 2-4
Yeah.
with 2 wins by retirement. So 2-8 against Medvedev.
Okay.
Um, 1-5 against Djokovic. Got him in that Belgrade match,
Oh, that's right. Yep.
that final in Belgrade, where he dangled him in the third.
Right.
Um, Sinner, I think he's 2-4, 2-5, maybe two and
But the two
five
winter
now because he
retirements, right?
you want two retirement, yeah, twice won by retirement. Once was 2-1, so it doesn't even really count.
Right.
Um, and I guess Alcaraz we can look up in Zverev.
I think
0-1 against Alcaraz, just the World Tour Finals,
yeah.
and then 3-6 against Zverev. But he had won the last three against Zverev before the Tour Finals, and the Tour Finals just didn't play
Yeah.
very well. So I mean, like, yeah, against those top couple guys, he's not great.
Yeah. No, he's been competitive, but yeah, winning is a different story. Now with Sinner, how much do you weigh the physicality question marks that we've had with Sinner?
It still is in the equation, but it's less than before. Like
Okay.
the Australian Open was like a dream run for him, right? In
Yeah.
terms of like he didn't have any difficult like, and it's partially because he played damn well. Like, let's not get that confused.
Right.
But he got through every match in 3 sets. Djokovic was pretty short match for a 4-setter. There was one tiebreak set, but the other sets were,
Right.
pretty
We're
clean.
lopsided. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the final was 5, and he had to come back. We played against a guy in the final, so like the on court time was insane. The disparity.
Right.
So, like, I don't think he's taking care of it completely, but I don't think it's like,
I don't think it's a concern here because even if he plays a long drawn out match, he'll have days off in between most matches.
yeah. I think the only round they have to play back-to-back days is the third round in the round of 16, right? And for the bottom half or for the top half,
Well,
which he's not even in.
that's just for the top half.
Yeah, so he won't even. So he was not even subject to that. So it's just the finals. Is it
Well,
just the finals then?
actually this tournament, they're stretching the round of 16 into 2 days. And they're playing all of the quarterfinals on one day.
So all the quarterfinals Thursday or Friday?
All the quarterfinals are on Friday. No, I think all the quarterfinals are on Thursday.
And then semis are Saturday and finals are
Right.
Sunday.
Miami's a little different schedule. They're putting all the round of 16 on one day for
Yeah.
Miami. But the competition schedule. So Tuesdays, fourth round, Wednesdays,
Wednesday's fourth round, Thursday's quarters.
quarters. Then Fridays, women's semis, the men are off. Saturday men's semis, Sunday are the finals. So I guess physicality could come into question with the semis and finals being on back-to-back
That's
days.
only 2 days. That's only 2 days back to back. That's not bad unless you get like a 3.5 hour match or something, Like you're right. This is a well-built tournament for Sinner.
It is.
Um, yeah, I've got very little.
Okay.
I mean, like maybe a little bit, but not much. It's yeah.
All right, moving on to that the final quarter here. So we got Zverev. He's a 6 seed. He'll have a bye. He'll play the winner of O'Connell and Draper. It's actually a tough second round match, I feel.
It's a really either way. I because I think O'Connell's a really
Either
bad
way, it's
matchup for
tough.
Zverev.
I agree.
Like I'm really hoping O'Connell somehow beats Draper. Maybe Draper's still sick. Because you could get O'Connell, he'll probably be like a 4+ game dog against Zverev, and I think he's live.
I agree. I agree.
And O'Connell's been really struggling. He's been really not. I mean, he might even be more because he's been really pretty bad. But just matchup wise, man, he's feels like he's got a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if Draper's healthy, I think that, he's certainly live. And then,
Yeah,
yeah. So then we got Yannick Hoffman against Pedro Cachin, and the winner of that match will play Talon Griekspoor. Bublik, 20 seed, he'll play the winner of Shang and Thompson. It's an interesting first round match, actually.
it is actually. It's yeah.
Taro Daniel will play Daniel Galan, and the winner of that match will play Alex Demonor. Then we have Karen Kachanov. He'll play the winner of Seaboth Wilch against JJ Wolf. Then we got Marajan against Popperin, and the winner of that match will play Nico Yari. Felix Auger-Aliassime will play the winner of Lestienne against Kudla. And then the winner of Luca Van Ash and Matteo Arnaldi will play Carlitos Alcaraz, or Garcia, as you would say. So, I think it's really I think the first match, as we mentioned before, that's tough for Zverev. I think these courts are actually pretty decent for Griekspoor. It doesn't play well for his serve, but I think it plays really well for his ground strokes.
Sure.
Because I think like he needs that extra time on the ball, and I think like he hits big enough where he's able to hit through slow conditions.
Yeah.
So
I just don't know if he has to play long, drawn out rallies if he's really got a chance. If he has hit more than 5, 6 balls in a rally is my concern.
yeah. I don't really like Bublik here. I like Thompson here. I think Thompson could be an interesting look for a rollover. Like I think Thompson is on a collision course with Demonor in the 4th round. That's what I see here. Kachanov. I think Kachanov could beat Alcaraz if it gets to that. That would be a fun match to watch. I want to fade Alcaraz in some capacity. It's just like I'm not sure what spot to do that in. Like theoretically, this should be a great court for Alcaraz, right? But he's just not playing the same.
Well, now we've got an injury, right? Now we got an injury to worry about.
He looked okay in the Netflix slam. I saw some of it. Like, I don't take much stock into it in terms of how he's hitting the ball, but I do take stock in it in terms of like, is he moving okay? You know?
And I guess it's a decent sign that he played it, right? He still isn't that hurt if he played it, I
He would have
guess.
played it if he was hurt. They get paid so much money for that. Like the amount of money that he got for that
Yeah.
is probably astronomical. Like you just suck it up and play, cash that check, you know? Like,
Yeah.
um,
But who knows? Like, who knows? Did he get enough practice in? Yada yada. I don't know. I think there's aspects of coming off the injury besides just can you run, right? Like it's also like, did he get does he have the confidence? Did he get to did he get to practice on it? Does he feel used to hitting on hard courts again? Like, I don't know.
But who would you want to fade him with?
Well, so I'd love to fade him with Zverev, but I really can't from a betting perspective. So I want to fade Zverev in his first round match. So like, yeah, I mean, honestly, the answer is nobody. Because like you go through this, right? Like I don't want to fade with Zverev. I just think Demon played a lot of tennis, man. Like to defend the final in Rotterdam plus Acapulco is a lot. Um, Plus I don't know. I
How
don't
did
think
Demonor do here after the Acapulco run last year?
I don't think he's done very well here in general. Demon, if I remember right. But we can look it up. Plus, Demonor's price isn't very good. He's only like 25 to 1 to win the event, which is not a great price, in my opinion.
Well, I think Sinner is really problematic if he gets to the semis, right? So he'd have to beat theoretically Alcaraz, Sinner, and Djokovic to win this event. And that's why, 25
Well, theoretically, right? But I mean, Djokovic could lose. I mean, I think I don't mean like if I had to bet on it, I would say Djokovic will lose before he makes the final. Um, if um, but yeah, but yeah, it's tough to back guys like Demonor in these types of events, especially like 25 to 1's not a huge price. Like
6-6. He lost first round to or second round to Fushevik, 4-2 last year. And he made the round of 16, lost to Fritz, 7-6 in the third in 22.
yeah, and the year before he won 3 sets with Tsitsipas, which is as bad as well as he's done against Tsitsipas. Like, yeah, I guess he's not terrible here. I don't know, man. 25 to 1, like I guess I wouldn't hate the idea of backing Demonor, but 25 to 1 doesn't seem like a great price.
No, it doesn't.
That's already building in the form. And at that point, like, what else why else am I really?
Yeah. Kachanov is actually the interesting look here, I think.
So the challenge there, I think, is like Kachanov can do like there's a few, I don't know. That feels like there's a few guys here who can beat him.
The problem is if Alcaraz is like even like
Well, that's the problem. Actually, that's why I'm not going to back this, is because the only way you like this is a screwy quarter, because the only way you can back somebody here, like it's do you want to bet, like, do I really want to bet on whether or not Alcaraz is healthy? I have no idea. Or not even healthy, but like Alcaraz's confidence level, or like how he's feeling, or like, if he's gonna like I just want to stay away from this entirely, because I think Alcaraz, like if I was gonna hit this, I want to hit this with somebody who I believe could be Alcaraz anyways. And like that's not catching off. Like that would be Zverev or maybe Demoner. I just don't love the price on Demoner, and Zverev's the same price, but I just hate that second round match. I think there's like a really good chance
Yeah.
out by the second round.
Yeah, it's a really tough quarter to handicap.
I think it's handicapped, but I just think the way they've handicapped it is tough to like. Honestly, it's tough to hit it's tough to hit a lot of these like these market these outrights and these futures in general, because there's just like
Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of times they get it close enough that like it doesn't matter.
So my futures play for this draw is Sinner at 3-1, and I put 2 units on it already.
I just think it's a shit price. Like I think he's the best guy in the
Really?
field. I think he's the best guy in the field, but there's nobody here I want at 3-1.
So the reason why I like it is because I actually think Sinner should be priced higher than Djokovic.
I agree with you, but I still think 3-1's a crap price.
Okay. I don't. Like I think anything, like I thought leading into this event, I thought Sinner should have been like plus 230 and Djokovic should have been like plus 250 or 275.
So my issue, right, is that I think there's a good chance he plays Rublev. And I give Rublev a 1 out of 3 chance there.
Okay.
Just how competitive he's been. So that takes out a chunk. Like I think even that he's basically like maybe slightly above 50-50 to win the quarter. Because like, look, he could like every match, like any guy can lose any match, right? Like there's like a 2 to 3% chance, right? You just start multiplying up those possibilities, and like I
Mhm.
don't know, he could lose early. There's like a 5 or 10% chance he loses early. Then he could lose to um to Rublev. And then like if he ends up against Djokovic, if Djokovic is playing well, like that's probably pretty close to 50-50. If Alcaraz is playing well, that's probably pretty close to 50-50. If he's not, it's probably Zverev or Demonor. Like Demonor he should beat, but Zverev's not like a that's not a
Yeah.
shoe in. Like I just think like at 3-1, like I hear you. I think he's the best guy in the field, and I think he should be ranked priced higher than Djokovic. But I just there's like I think quarters and in he could lose. And so I don't really have any interest in
Okay.
anybody in this event at like if I'm gonna take somebody at that kind of price, I need to think they're like head and shoulders above the field. Because you're talking about him winning 6 tennis matches in a row, including 3 likely against top 10 competition. Or quite possibly 3 against top 10
Okay. My
competition.
my reasoning behind hitting it was I thought that he's the best guy in the draw and he should be ahead of Djokovic.
I
That
agree
was
with you. I just don't like the price at 3-1.
but in
Um,
a futures market like this on an outright, you're not gonna get like the favorite to be like plus 400.
that's why I'm not hitting a favorite here.
Yeah. Right. You have an underdog here that you're
I do. I got 2, and I'm gonna.
okay.
It's a little riddle for you. So they're the same price, and I got 1 in each half.
Let me guess. Is it Corda and Paul?
No, no, they're more reasonable guys. It's Rublev and Fritz.
Okay.
Fritz.
33.
Look, his draws. I don't think his draw is that great, especially that third round is like really weak, and the second round itself is not that great. He really should make the fourth round at least. Um, 33-1 is not is I think is a decent price. I'd probably take it like anything more than like 25 to 30 ish. Um, yeah, if you go to his draw, like
Mm,
Kotov or Tabilo, that's his second round opponent. Like those, like I want to
yeah.
fade Tabilo here because he's coming off a huge run in Chile, right? Like I know he lost in the final, but that's a big
Well, he had a
run.
good run here last year to Bilo. But that being said, he's not going to lose to Fritz.
Yeah, and then Kotov looks like trash right now. He just
Yeah.
hasn't been good all year. Um, we already talked about how bad Fognini, Morales, and Baez are on hard.
Yeah, that's a
That
really
puts him in
good
the
section.
fourth round, and like I don't know, like that's his quarter, right? Rune is
Yeah,
that's his potential fourth round opponent is like Rune or one of these
right.
other dudes. Like none of the I think he should be a favorite against all these dudes.
I
Like
agree.
so the first match he's a dog is if Medvedev even gets through to there, which if Medvedev gets through to
Right.
there, that would be unfortunate. But like I'm hoping Medvedev gets knocked off by somebody else, and I think there's a good chance. Not good, but maybe like I don't know, maybe give it like 20, 30% chance.
I'm gonna have
Um,
to join you on that the Fritz one. It's a good play. And it's a good hedge for the center because he's on the opposite half.
yeah.
So I really like that. Yeah, and I think Medvedev actually has a really tough section with Korda and then potentially Dimitrov in the round of 16. Like
Or
that's not
Sefulon or Evans, if one of them beats Quarter, like that's not like no matter what, he's not getting a walk in the park in the third round.
Safulin on a slow court is not someone I'm concerned about.
But Evans could be
Yeah, Evans
like
could.
and like again, like I'm not here to predict Dan Evans weeks just like you anymore. But like if it is a Dan Evans week, like it could be a problem.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's the reason for that. And then I like I like Rublev on the bottom half. It's really a price thing. Like at 33 to 1, like Lehechka could be scary, but I don't know, man. Like it's really a
The
could.
problem
Like,
is center in the quarters. That's really the problem.
but he's been competitive with him the last several times. So
Yeah, but
like,
being competitive, like he hasn't won a set. I know he got 6-2 in the tiebreak, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just,
yeah, I hear you. But like again, I don't know. Like he's not that much like the draw and him are not like I don't know. Like why like he's a better player than Fritz. I know his draw is tougher. He's got center in the quarters, but like I think it's winnable, man. Like I give him a 1 out of 3 chance there.
okay.
I think he should get there, and then like you get him to the semis, and like I don't know, you take your chances. Like I don't think again, like if he can beat Sinner, like nobody else is like that dominant.
Yeah.
And I like two of these in the bottom half because like that bottom quarter is not a bad quarter to target.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't get there with Rublev because like if it was Alcaraz in the quarters, I would be more likely to like that just because I think the chance that Alcaraz loses before the quarters is higher than Sinner losing before the quarters. Um, but
Yeah, I knew you were gonna like the play, and like I'm not bashing you for it. Like this all comes down to like I think like Rublev has shown in the past year and a half that he can be competitive with these top guys. He hasn't really shown that he can beat them. And so like the question is like, what chance do you give him against these top guys? Is it like a 30% chance, or is it a 20, or is it a 15 or 20% chance, right? Like how like if you're like how much credit do you give
yeah,
to
but
somebody for getting
when you're
close?
betting an outright, you're betting on him to win three of them. Like, can he
Well, I
win
mean, I'm
one?
hoping
Yes.
realistically, I'm hoping that either Medvedev or well, so Medvedev. So I'm hoping that I think Zverev and him is pretty close to a pick. So I'm hoping that Alcaraz goes out, I guess, or isn't looking great or isn't playing great, which could happen. Like Alcaraz hasn't played great in a while. And then
Hmm.
like Medvedev or Djokovic are going to have to knock each other out, and maybe it's neither of them. Maybe it's somebody else, like some random guy that makes the finals. I mean, look, the last like I said, 5 of the past 6 years, it's been somebody outside the top 5 seeds that's won the event.
Okay. I like the Fritz play. I'm tailing you on that. But I'm not going in with
I understand why you don't like the Rublev play. I think it all depends on like again like, and the Rublev play was like it's it's hoping that he can overcome in at least 2 matches the fact that he's been just a little bit worse than these guys
Mhm.
for the past couple of years, and like yeah, it depends on how much you believe in that.
Okay. What's Fritz to make the final? 18 to 1.
18. That might be better. I might have to look at that. That might be better.
He's on the Medvedev section, so he played Djokovic in the semis.
Which means that Sinner, Rublev, like all those guys would be awaiting the finals. I've got to look at that. I got to think about that. I might end up
Yeah.
switching it for the final played 18 to 1.
I might split the unit and play both. But
Yeah.
yeah, Fritz in some capacity here. And just he's proved it before, right? Like he's
Well, this is a perfect
really
court for
good
him,
here.
right? Like this is
Yeah.
a like we know he plays better in America. This is like his home. I think his home is in Cal. I think his hometown is in California. It's like pretty close to here. Like there's a lot of reasons to like Fritz here. Oh, I think another interesting play here. I don't think an unseeded player has made the final here in like 20 years. I know you don't do this, but like if you want to bet your life to win a sandwich, you could bet the no at negative 1100, and that's probably a pretty safe bet to be honest. Like there's 32 seeds here, so like of the 64 unseeded players,
Yeah.
32 are going out in the first round. That's probably a pretty safe play. That's probably plus EV
It's
at
a safe
negative
play.
1100.
Yeah.
It's also funny how there's a lot of guys at 500 to 1 to win the event who definitely should not be. Like
Yeah.
Like, how are we giving
Golan the same price as Machak.
or like Rusevori?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rusevori and Machak. Like, how are they getting the same price as
The
as?
books clearly got lazy, like at the
But
end.
yeah, and just
They
they
just
just like
got lazy.
250.
They're like,
Put everybody at
get
250.
it.
Like the problem is I actually don't know if it's exploitable
It's not.
because
That's
like none of these all these guys have zero chance. Like zero is zero no matter what, But like it's just funny.
I mean, these are prices to make the final. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some individual matches.
Yep.
First matches. All right, how many are there? Whoa, it's a lot.
22, right? Yeah, it's 22.
Two.
It's
All right,
actually not a bad week, Manny. This is less than like a lot of the 250 weeks,
I
in the
know, I know.
tournament.
All right, first one. It's a good one. Christopher O'Connell against Jack Draper. O'Connell's a 4-game dog plus 290 on the money line. Draper's minus 375. Over under is 22. I know you're gonna be on the O'Connell bandwagon here, right?
I'm gonna pass, man. O'Connell has not been good lately.
Draper is so hard to bet. Like he really is. Like
Well,
Draper,
that's the thing. Like Draper plays well. He's really good, but I feel like I'd be actually tempted to back Draper here because O'Connell's not been good recently.
that food poisoning.
But that food poisoning, I really don't want to bet. This is a pass to me. And I promise I'm not going to pass every match. I actually have a bet on the majority of the matches, but this is a
Okay,
pass.
all right, that's good. I might have to pass on this too. I mean, the 3-set line, maybe.
It's also for a guy who's not the best physically. He just came off and it was a pretty easy run because like he really didn't have a lot of tough matches, but he did play like 3 or 4 tennis matches in a week.
And he did come off a retirement.
Yeah, which was the food poisoning retirement, but like, yeah,
I'm not buying it really, but still, there must have been some physical ailment.
yeah,
So, all right, I'm gonna pass there too. Jack Draper is he's just like a pure pass guy. Like he's so hard to read.
he is.
Him, Kecmanovic, Korda. I think those are probably the 3 toughest guys
Oh,
to
I don't know. I actually think Quarter's a fine guy to back dogs against. You just know like sometimes they're gonna go flame out like your dogs against them, but sometimes they'll do well. And like it's like you just have to like it's almost like you just have to close your eyes and know that like sometimes it's gonna look absolutely like sometimes Quarter's gonna make you look like an absolute idiot for fading him.
Yeah, but when you
But
have to
like
close your eyes and hope that he doesn't make you look like an idiot, that shows that he's a hard guy to bet.
he's a hard guy to bet, but like it's more that like I feel with Quarter like the outcomes are extreme. But like I would never like Quarter you just like back a money line or maybe you back a 3-set line. But like you don't want to back like the game spread, right? Whereas like, so
Yeah,
it's a little bit different.
he's prone to losing sets 6-1. Like
Yeah,
he
or just losing
that.
sets period to
So
guys he shouldn't.
yeah. All right, next match. Kokonakis against Giron. Kokonakis is a 2-game dog. Plus 135 on the money line. Giron minus 165, over under of 23. So I am gonna play the Giron -2 here. I know MP9 was on this. MP9 and Tidbits actually disagreed on this one. But
Why did Tibbetts like Kokonakis?
he thinks that he's better on slow courts. Like he has a little bit more time for those big swings and like.
Yeah, I agree. Um
So you're on Kokonakis here?
so this is the one of the two matches or two matches I really haven't looked at yet to have a good opinion.
Okay.
Um I'm probably leaning your own because I just think he's like better at tennis, but it
Yeah.
might end up being a pass. It's somewhere between like it probably ends up being a pass. This is probably pretty close to be honest. It's the right line. This probably ends up being a pass for me the more I think about it. But yeah.
I'm thinking of the under 23 as well.
Okay.
I just think like with these slow conditions, nothing should be under 22.5. Unless it's like,
What about Nakashima and Eubanks?
I think that should be under 2. I think there are going to be some breaks there.
Okay.
Too.
The
But
problem is this could like the problem is when you have these closer matches, it could go 3 sets and then your 23 just gets screwed.
right. Um, I don't know. I mean, Jerome's runs were, I guess Delray was slower, right? And
Yeah.
Dallas was quicker.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think court speed really matters here too much. I just think Giron is the better mover and is more patient in rallies, I guess. Both can be kind of volatile mentally.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think 2 games is just enough. This line moved. It was opened at minus 145. And now it's minus 165. So it looks like there's some money going in on Giron here. All right, next match. Shevchenko against Kopfer. Shevchenko's a 1-game dog. Even on the money line. Kopfer's minus 120, over under of 23. You have a play here?
I promise I have played, but this is another this is another pass, but I do think there's an interesting look here. I think so. A, I think Shevchenko is more likely to lose a set. B, I think Shevchenko has lost like 14 bagel or breadstick sets or something like that in the past year, which is quite a few.
That's a lot.
Kofor's only lost like 4 or 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a look here to play the Kofor -1.
But Kopfer is like prone to those chokes like he had last week in Acapulco.
No, but that's the thing. I mean, he legitimately could like you could get like a choky like 6-1, 4-6, 4-6 where you like lose the match and like push on the one, or 6-1, 4-6, 6-7 where you like I think there's some
Yeah.
small chance that's greater than normal that actually like comes in where you don't lose, where you lose the match and you don't lose the -1. It's not high, obviously. There's so few squares that can
Right.
actually happen, but like I think there's some tiny chance that actually happens. Like I think I'm not playing it, but I think it could be an interesting look. My lean in general in this match would be Kopfer, but I think it's pretty dead
The
close.
under 8.5 in the first set is actually interesting at plus 340.
Just don't know it's the best price. But I hear you. I can get why you like it. Like with those two guys, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. This is a really tough match to cap. Really tough.
Yeah, I agree.
Might be Chevy on the money line at even money as a slight dog.
I think the line's pretty close either way. I don't think it's more than like a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
don't think there's a ton of
I
EV. I mean, that's why I'm not playing. Is I just don't think there's a ton of EV on any of these bets. And like the over under is fine, but there's just a decent. There's actually a pretty decent chance these ads go 3, and then your over under is screwed.
probably, yeah.
But like the 3 set line's only plus 125, I think. So that's not like there's just no good way to play this.
I actually think this line should be flip-flopped, though.
I can see the argument for that.
I probably play Shevchenko on the money line. That's probably going to be my play. But...
The argument.
All right, next match. Yannick Hoffman against Pedro Cachin, who I don't think has won a match all year.
He right, he is not.
Is not.
Um,
Yep.
but
So
Hoffman's
Hoffman
not
is a
particularly
three and a
good.
half game favorite, minus 350 on the money line, over under 22. You have a play here?
So this is what I need to look at more. I doubt it, man. Like because like I kind of want to fade both these guys.
Yeah, me
And I
too.
want to fade Kachin more, but like that's why he's a 3.5 game dog.
Right.
I mean, Hoffman just lost to Wanman.
Yeah, I mean, I can't back Cachin, who hasn't won a match all year. Like, that's just not happening. What are their serve return point stats?
I mean, it's hard, right? Like, what do you want? You want it on hard? You're gonna want it on hard court, right? Because this is a hard court match, or do you want like just general?
General.
Um, but again, like Kachin's played a bunch of challenge. Like you gotta really like get your right. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but both of these guys are playing challenger level tennis, to be honest.
No, but I think Kachin's playing a lot more challenger tournaments. Like his ranking's quite a bit lower, isn't it? Yeah. See.
He's just losing everything.
Yeah, but he's playing. I guess he's playing more ATP level events this year. But like, it's yeah. I don't know. It's I have to think about this one quite a bit more, but I can't. I don't know, man. I can't really see myself getting excited about playing this match.
Both of these guys are struggling so much.
Well, but I understand why. Like for Hoffman, because like this isn't going to be a good. Like, he doesn't have a really like. He's not particularly good, I don't think, in South America. So there's not really like a particularly. Although he's made a couple runs, I think, in previous years. But I don't know. It's like both these guys would prefer clay altitude courts.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a misconception that there's altitude at Indian Wells. There actually isn't that much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's only 89 feet.
Yeah,
It's
89.
basically
Yeah, it's not that much. You would think there's
yeah.
more, but there isn't. Uh,
I guess it depends where you are on the valley, but
Valley,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. All right, next match here. Um, Chris Eubanks and Brandon Nakashima. Eubanks is a 1.5 game dog, plus 120 on the money line. Nakashima's minus 145, over under 23.5. Please tell me you have a bet here.
No, because I think again, like I think the under 23 and a half is a decent look, but like again, you just get screwed over so much by 3 sets here, I think. Like, I don't know.
This
Kind of
is a
surprised to
dog.
see Nakashima as a favorite here. Like, I'd be tempted to play Eubanks.
Just because of Nakashima's success in the challenger circuit.
I know, but that's not ATP circuit. Like, I'm not playing this, but yeah. But the temptation would be to back Eubanks here as a dog.
Mhm. I think I'm going to play the under 23.5.
I get it. Like, I think you're pretty good to get under in 2 sets. I just 3 sets scares me here.
Mm-hmm.
But the 3 set line here, I think if I looked, and I think there's another one with like the 3 set was like plus 125 or something, or plus
Plus
120. Yeah.
120. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eubanks over 12.5 is minus 125. Another really tough match to cap.
Yeah.
All right, Luca Van Ash against Matteo Arnaldi. Arnaldi's a 3 game favorite, minus 225 on the money line. Van Ash plus 185. Over under of 22 games. Um, this is a match I really want to watch from a tennis perspective. I think it's like a counter puncher versus someone that likes to play more offense, two kind of athletic, good movers. Like I think from a watching perspective, it's going to be really fun to watch this match. From a betting perspective, I kind of like Van Ash on these courts. I think these slower courts are better for him, right? I might play Van Ash on the money line here at plus 185.
Interesting. All right. So here's our first disagreement. Van Ash has lost a bunch of matches recently. I'm not really sure why, but it seems like he hasn't been doing as well since January. Um, Again, not really sure why.
Yeah, losing to Martyr isn't good. I mean, Kachanov, he's going to lose 2 and 3 anyway.
Yeah, we lost 2 and 3 to Cressy, 3 and 3 to G's Brower. Like,
Yeah.
now that said, Arnoldi's last 5 matches, I think, have gone 3 sets. And you kind of see why. Like when you see him play, like you kind of get why. Because like
Mhm.
he is a little bit hot and cold. He does still miss a lot. Um, so
Reset
I really
line.
like the Arnold. I don't do this a lot, but I like the yeah, kind of like the Arnoldi 2-1 here. In fact, I like what's that, 290 or something? 275.
275.
It's not a great price, but I think that's a decent look. I think the 3 sets at 140 is a decent look.
I like that.
Yeah. Like I would go GBM on the 140 to 3 sets.
Okay, we could do that.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna play the 3-set line and the Van Ash money line. I
Okay.
just think so. Arnaldi, his problem is I think he's like sometimes too aggressive and like
I agree.
he doesn't know like how to pick his spots, right? He just kind of like he's really fun to watch, really athletic. Like you see the talent, but you just and he's a good competitor. I'm not like criticizing his competitiveness. I'm just criticizing his tactics in like certain times. And I think Van Ash is going to be able to expose that because he's like the opposite, where he's just like overly disciplined in a way.
Yeah, the problem is going to be on these courts. Like, can Van Ash get any power to make like the only way he wins points is Arnoldi on forced errors,
But I think
and
that's
maybe
like
that's enough. Maybe that's enough.
enough.
But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know.
So okay. We disagree. Interesting. All right. Marjan against Popperin. Uh, Popperin is a 2-game favorite, minus 165 on the money line, over under of 23. Marjan is plus 135. I think these are fantastic courts for Popperin, to be honest. Slower, gives him a little more time for those big groundies. Like we talked about last year how he was best on clay, right?
Yeah,
Like he
yeah,
won Umag. Like this is like the closest thing you're gonna get to a clay court on a hard court, right?
yeah.
So I think these are really good conditions, and I think Marjan is going to struggle to hit through these courts.
I don't
Obviously,
think that's true. Marzan's got plenty. His game's plenty big. That's not the problem.
yeah, but you also need margin, right? Like, and the bounce of the court doesn't really impact margin shots because they're kind of flat, low margin balls, right?
Maybe. Um, so I agree with everything you said. The counter that I've got to this is like, I think the big wild card in this match is like how much does Marzan use the drop shot? And he hasn't been using it that much recently, but like this would be a really good spot to bring that back out.
We say that in every match. Like we said that in the match against Fritz at the Australian Open, and he
No,
didn't.
we don't say it every match. We say it like one match a month. I mean, honestly, right? But like it's like this would be a great like I just think like this would be a good match to bring this back out because like I agree with that. I think if he tries to hit with Poppy from the baseline,
It's a
I
losing
don't think
battle.
that's a great. I think Poppy's better than him from back there. But minus 165 plus 135, that's already saying Poppy wins it 60% of the time. Um,
I'm laying the 2 here with Popper, and also I think like a Poppy 6-3 set is or 6-2 set is like it could happen. I know Poppy plays a lot of overs, but like Marjan's unforced errors and like his hot and cold could lend itself to some lopsided sets.
I'm a pass because I think like I can make an argument here for both guys. Right? I think the argument I can make is like Poppy plays so many overs, so if you really want to lay games in a match where with a guy who plays so many overs and plays so many 3-set matches, like that feels dangerous. Do you really want to play a guy who's like plays so many third sets at -165 on the money line? That feels dangerous. Like Marzan's drop shot could change this match if he decides to use it, so that feels dangerous. But on the other hand, like I do think Poprin's a better player than Marzan. I think he's better from the baseline. So I'm a pass here, but I think there's it's a good match to discuss.
Popper in 2-0 is +145. That's interesting to me. But probably not because he plays a lot of 3-setters. What's the Popper in 2-1?
Probably you're sitting at 275 to 290. Every 2-1 is like 285 to 290 for the favorite.
285.
Yeah. I like 270 to 290 for the favorite.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna hit something pro Poppy there. All right, Taro Daniel against Daniel Galan. Which Daniel's gonna win? Taro is -3, 3-game favorite, -185 on the money line, over under of 22.5. Galan is +155. I'm thinking of laying the 3 games. That's and it's not juiced at -105.
So I'm thinking of playing something pro Galan. Like,
Really?
I don't know, man. Like, what has Taro Daniel really done besides that win in or not win, besides making the final of whatever tournament it was? The Auckland, did he
Auckland?
make the final of?
Yeah.
Like, what else has he really done?
Yeah, not much.
He's 1-5 since then. The losses aren't terrible. It's Jerome, Demonor, Paul, Eubanks, and Kaboli. But I don't know, man. Like, we always make fun of Galan, but like, he still is somehow a top 100 player. And I don't think he's that much better on clay than hard. Like if this was pick, I'd be on Daniel for sure, but
Yeah, I mean, Daniel also likes these conditions. He's played well here in the past. He beat Djokovic here in 2018. He made the 3rd round here after qualifying, beating Poppy, Carballes Baena, and Berrettini.
okay, which of those wins is impressive?
Poppy Brent win is decent.
That's the only one. Like Diana's on hard is not
Berrettini
exciting.
won. I mean, Berrettini was
Berrettini by last year was a mess so many matches. Like I can't get excited about Berrettini. But I hear your overall point. Like he's overall been decent here, but like I don't know, man. Like 3 games is a big spread. Like we kind of forget. Like it doesn't sound like a lot because it's 1 break per set, but like it's hard to 2-0 somebody.
it's more on these courts though, because it's less on these courts. I'm way more willing to lay games than to take games on these courts because I think breaks will be quite frequent here.
Yeah, but you get 3 sets here too.
Yeah, I'm not that high on Galan. I don't know.
I mean, he still is a top 100 player. Like nobody on any like in any place ever is high on Daniel Y. Galan. But like he still is somehow like floating around in the top 100. Like
So you're playing a pro Galan line here?
leaning it, I don't know yet. Like I'm leaning like I do think Taro should win this match, and I do think he will win the match, but I don't know, like and the problem is like I don't know what to actually play that's pro Galan. Like I guess I could maybe look at playing 3 sets. That might be the option.
Okay.
But man, Galan can be so bad. Like, I don't know. I'll probably end up just passing because I probably won't find a Galan line that I like. Maybe the money line at 155, but like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. All right, next match is Dusan Lajovic against Emil Rusevori. Lajovic is a 3.5 game dog, plus 220 on the money line. Rusevori is minus 275, over under of 22. So I'm assuming you're a pass, right? Because Rusevori is a favorite.
I think I played something here. I think I like something here. Um, I like Dusan to win a set at minus 125.
Dusan to win a set. I mean, like, I guess these courts should be good for Dusan. He hits like a heavier ball, right?
He gets more
It's
time for the
slow.
backhand.
He'll have time for the backhand.
I was looking up, like, Dusan is pretty good. I'm looking this up over the past, like, I looked at some stat here that got me to back Dusan.
Then how about the 3 set line at plus 145 then? You think the Dusan 2-0 is in play?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, Rusevori come out and make 70 unforced errors.
Yeah, we've seen it before.
Yeah, like I don't mind backing Rusevori as a dog. It's just like I don't like backing him as a I don't necessarily love backing like overs or 3 sets with him because he can just come out and play like terribly. And it's really hard to figure out when good email's going to be out and bad email's going to be out. Like we talked about this a few weeks ago when maybe last month when Tidbits was on the podcast. Like it seems really hard to figure. And they can come out within the same match too, which is the other problem. Like you just don't know. Which is why I really like taking the one set because like if bad email comes out for a set, that's all you need. Like
Yeah.
um, I was looking at something.
I might play the
So
Rusevori.
last 2 years versus the top 50 on hard court, Lajovic has won at least a set. I mean, pretty regularly, like over half the time against top 50 guys. Um, which I mean, it tells you he does compete, right? Like, he does compete.
Yeah.
That backhand, like, and then that's on hard courts. Like, I don't think he's as bad on hard courts as everybody says. Like, especially slower hard courts.
Slow.
Like, yeah, like, I'm not saying he's great, but I think he's like passable. And with Emil just being like I don't really like getting behind. I don't know if there's a lot of guys like getting behind Emil Roy at minus 275 against. So my
I
favorite player is the one set for Lajovic, not the two, because like Rusevori really should win this match. Like
So why don't you do a ladder here? Why don't you just do that plus the money line? Like do like
I
one
think
unit.
that's in play too. That's not a bad idea. I could ladder also. Yeah, I think either one's in play.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do the 3 set line at plus 145. I think that's gonna be my play.
I understand it. I think that's
And
fine
I'll
too.
play the Lajovic like full match money line.
Yeah.
The first set money line is a decent look too at plus 170.
Yeah, I just don't know why it would be why it needs to be the first set with Lajovic and why it can't be the second. So I think like like email
Yeah.
could come out at any time. Like I don't think there's.
You could do the Mute line and then bet the second set.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know that you do that here either. Like I feel like it's a very specific Mute thing.
Agreed. All right. Next match is Borna Koric against Sebastian Offner. Ugh. This is just like I don't even want to look at these lines like with this match.
I don't don't think Gorge is that bad, man. Like, I get it. Like, it can go really south really quick, but like,
Yeah, against Offner, maybe you want to back Korich. Could be
yeah, and
a
like,
game
it's just
favorite.
tough because like, I don't know with this Offner how much of it is like just like hot, but like, and see, this is a night match, so it's not going to be as hot, which might
Yeah.
not be good. I might have to back off this. Like, as I got to think about this one. This
Yeah.
one's going to be like close because like I was a lot more excited if this was a day match. As a night match, I'm a lot less excited. Because
Yeah.
if it was a little bit quicker and if it was a little bit hotter, that often had to deal with like even like 80 degrees of desert heat, like I'd be a lot like more excited that now he gets like a cooler conditions.
Yeah, I'm staying away here. I mean, I want to fade Offner so badly, but I can't back Quaritch in the first round of a tournament and not as a minus 260 favorite. There's no
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So it's a pure means for pure stay away.
I can never back off, and I still gotta look at Quaritch. Like if it was a day match, I was gonna back Quaritch, but I'm less excited at night.
All right, so our plays for the first day of the tournament. There are some matches that are going to be with qualifiers to come.
Yeah.
But
I gotta correct myself on O'Connell. O'Connell hasn't been as bad on second thought as I thought. I gotta relook at that. I might end up playing O'Connell. Draper's a hard guy to bet.
yeah, I really want to play something here, but I just don't know what.
But I was looking at something else too. That like there was a pro Draper stat. I'm gonna look at this real quickly. A second. So um, verse guys between 50 and 100 in the past 2 weeks on hard courts.
Mhm.
Draper's 10-1, and he's won in straight sets. Seven of the 11 matches.
It does seem like when he wins in straight sets a lot.
A lot, and like he can just overwhelm guys, like he did Yoshi.
Yeah,
And like there's a lot, I think, of scenarios here where O'Connell just gets overwhelmed. The problem
but if
is,
he doesn't get overwhelmed and it goes like 3 sets, then it becomes problem because physicality comes into
yeah,
play.
but then Draper might just retire, so you don't get paid out for your money line anyways, unless you're on the right book. Like, I mean, right? You can't play the spread because if like Draper's in trouble, he just retires and you lose your spread bet. So like, it's just like maybe I mean, yeah, it's a messy match to bet.
It is. It is.
So I'm still a stay away on second thought, but like, oh, it's tough.
I'm staying away. I'm staying away.
I actually would consider laying the 4 if we didn't have Draper coming off the food poisoning. Because I do think in terms of pure tennis, I think 4 might be a little light there, to be honest, here at Indian Wells, especially with the matchup.
Yeah.
So no play there. I gotta think more about Kokonakis Hiron, but probably I'm
Yeah,
passing on.
I'm playing Giron at -2. I'm probably going to play Shevchenko at the money line at even money. I'm laying off Hoffman and Kachin. You're laying off as well, right?
Probably. I'll look at it some more, but I'm probably laying
I'm going
off.
to play the Eubanks Nakashima under 23.5. Just on principle. Not like a high confidence play, but like,
I hear you. I'm just worried about the 3 sets there.
yeah. Then I'm on the Van Ash money line and the 3-set line there. I think that's the match of the day, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the GBM play is going to be the 3 sets, right? And that's the only
Three
GBM
sets.
play we
Yep.
have.
Yep. And then I'm on Poppy -2 here. You're staying away, right?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be a stay away there.
Or are you playing the Poppy 2-1? Oh, no, you
Don't
were
think
going to play
so.
the Arnaldi 2-1.
Yeah. I'm gonna play the 3 sets for sure, and then I might play the Arnoldi 2-1 as well. It's a tough call.
Okay. Daniel Galan, I'm probably going to lay the 3 with Daniel.
And I'm looking at playing a pro Galan. We debated that. That was a good debate.
Okay.
Actually, I really wasn't a good debate because I really didn't add anything other than like Galan is like actually somehow a pro tennis player.
He's actually top 100.
Yeah, and like Taro's only like and like Taro like yeah, it's just like just not like I don't know, man. And I feel like he's not that much
Yeah.
worse on play on hard Galan than play. Like I don't know. I don't understand how he's top 100, but somehow he is. It's very frustrating.
And then I'm gonna play the Lyovic money line and the 3-set line in that match.
Okay, I'm gonna play the Live plus a set, and I might play the or plus a set and a half, and I might play the Live money line as well.
Okay. And then we're both staying away from Corge Offner.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. I might still. I had a bet out on. I didn't have a bet out on Corch, but I had a bet. My trigger is loaded for Corch, but I might pull it back now that it's a night match. And a day match, I would play that at 3.5, but a night match is not exciting.
Okay. All right, very quick bet break, and then we'll
Yep.
preview the top half of the um first round matches. All right, welcome back to the show. So let's get into the top half of the first round matches.
Yep.
Share the screen. All right, first match here is Zhizhen Zhang against Kovacevic. So Zhang is a 1.5 game favorite, minus 145 on the money line. Kovacevic is plus 120, over under of 23. So I know Zhang is like a pure, dog pass guy typically.
Yeah.
But in this instance, I think he's still a little bit too short. I think he should be minus 170, minus 180. Like, I think he's the better player than Kovacevic. Kovacevic did have a decent run. In Cabo and Acapulco. But Zhang's serve return points won is
I mean, it's over the last 52 weeks, and that's on all surfaces, so it's up
I'm just
100.
looking
Yeah.
in I'm just looking 2024.
Oh, okay. Man, it's okay.
It's 98,
98. Yeah.
whereas Kovacevic slightly
100.
higher. Yeah, 100. So maybe the stats indicate that it's a little bit closer.
Well, you gotta be careful because I mean, you gotta look at who Kovacevic's got some qualities in there, right? So he's got some like matching against weaker competitions. So
But
it's
he's
not
had a
apples to apples.
yeah, but he's had a decent run. Like these results are decent.
Um, I guess for Kovacevic, but like for an ATP tour level player, like none of those wins are really wins. Like except maybe Jordan Thompson. Except Jordan. That's a legit win, the Jordan Thompson win. But like, and that was coming off of that insane run he had in Cabo, the
Right.
way he won the singles and the doubles. So like, I'm not sure a single one of those wins is really that exciting.
All right, and Zhang, I mean, Musetti 2-0, 2-0, like not that great. Took a set off Rublev, took a set off Monfils. So he's been winning less, but it's been, I guess, against way superior competition.
Yeah, and that's why the stats aren't as good, right? It's just really hard to comp.
Right. So the fact that it's only two percentage points different, yet the competition is so much better that Zhang has played. I don't know. I'm gonna probably back Zhang in some capacity here. Are you passing?
I'm playing the under 23 games at minus 105. I don't really know why these guys in Indian Wells
I agree with that.
should be a half game over should be a half game over the standard over under and putting it at a minus 105. And like I do think 3 sets is a fear here, but I just don't see I don't see a whole lot of like 7-6, 7-5. I'm gonna miss it in two
Right.
sets. Like, and the fact that I'm getting an unjuiced at minus 105 seems pretty good. So that's my play.
Okay. I'm gonna join you on that.
And like it sort of is like an implicit backing of Zhang, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I agree with
Right.
you. I think Zhang is by far the better player here, and so like, but I'm doing I guess a little bit differently. Instead of taking laying the straight games, I'll just play the under.
Yeah, and laying the 1.5 is juiced. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna play that. There's no reason why that shouldn't be 22.5.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Michelson and Munar. Oh yeah, you were hinting at this match being kind of
Munar had a good run here
different.
2 years ago. I'm not convinced Munar is like I know the stats are not good. I know like
You're really down on
there's not gonna be a whole
Michelson.
lot of facts I can point to that tell anybody that Munar is good on hard courts, but I'm not convinced he's as bad as people say he is on hard courts.
I feel like you're really down on Michelson.
No, I'm down on Michelson on slow, high bouncing courts. I still think he's better on quicker courts. I still don't think he's that explosive. It's better than it was. I mean, he's improving, so it's difficult because like I definitely have seen improvement in Michelson. And like he definitely should be the favorite here. Don't get me wrong. I just think 3.5 games here is a lot. Like I think this should be like 2.5.
All right, because I'm laying the 3.5 with Michelson here. I actually don't think he's worse on slow courts necessarily. I think it's pretty even. He's kind of like an all quarter, I feel. I don't know. Delray Beach is also a slower hard court, and that was he took Paul to 7-6 in the third. I'm not taking too much stock into the Demonor win. Just because Demonor was coming off that travel spot in Rotterdam.
Yeah, the Shen match was a mess. Like Michelson's a little all over the place. Like he's a little bit of a tough guy to bet too.
Yeah, he is, but I don't know. Munar.
Like I
Uh,
think on a slower hardcore, Menar's not as bad as like I don't know, maybe not as bad as like again. I know the results aren't there with anything recent, right? You have to go back you have to go back a ways. He doesn't play on hard much in general, so like you do have to dig back. But like back in 22, he made the third round of Indian Wells and lost in a third set tiebreak to Fritz. Um, I don't know.
so how are you playing Munar here?
Just money line. I hear you. Like this could go really sideways really quickly. Which is why I'll take the plus 210.
Okay. All right, I'm laying the 3.5 with Michelson here.
Yeah, I get it. Like I think Michelson will win this match.
Uh-huh.
I just think Lunar wins it like maybe 35 to 40% of the time.
Okay. So it's a price play.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, next match is Arthur Feast and Nuno Borges. Feast is minus 155 on the money line. He's a 2-game favorite. Borges is plus 130. Over under of 23. So I'm playing the Borges money line at plus 130.
I'm playing the under the 23 games, and my favorite line of the day is under 8.5 in the first set is plus 400.
Explain your logic on the under 8.5.
Well, okay, so the first piece is that Fees beat him 2 in love. Um, like a month ago, 2 months ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think it's relevant in that like he clearly showed he could do it, right? Borges, I don't know, like Borges is when he plays poorly, it can get really ugly. He also got bageled by Michelson in a set. He won the match, but he got bageled by Michelson in a set. Like Borges is prone to giving this stuff up. And then on Fee's side, like if Fees is playing bad, like he could give up a big set as well.
Mm-hmm.
He gave up Borges gave up a 6-2 to Yoshi.
Fonseca
Gave up
took
a
a
6-2 and a 6-1 to Vertanen. Like,
Fonseca took a 6-love against Vise.
yeah. And like theoretically, like Feast is I think we both agree Feast is a more talented player than Nuno.
100%.
Like if Feast is playing well, he should win this pretty easily, which is again, I really don't know why this is under 23, other than we're worried that he's gonna go 3 sets, but like I don't know, man. I'm not like yeah, it very well could go 3 sets, but like I'm not that worried about it because I think like again, like if Feast is playing well, this
Yeah,
should
then
be all
Borges has no chance, right? But I'm going based on what Feast has shown in the last like 2 months,
which
which is
means Borges could win
nothing.
2-0.
Right.
It's why I like the unders, right? Like because what Feast has shown in the last month has been nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my play here.
I'm gonna definitely tail you on the under 23. I can't. Oh, it's plus 400. It's appetizing.
Like it's probably gonna miss, no doubt. But
Right.
man, it's like compared with the other eight under 8.5, we're looking at it's like 340, and I think this is way more likely than that one.
I really like the under 23. We can make that GBM if you want.
Let's make that GBM.
Nice. And I'm also gonna play the Borges money line. I'm probably not gonna tail you on the under 8.5 though.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you.
All right. Next match is VDZ against Shapovalov. Ew. uh Shapovalov is a 1.5 game favorite. Minus 145 on the money line. VDZ is plus 120. Over under of 22.5. I'm probably gonna just stay away from this. I don't want any part of either guy. Do you have a play here?
I'm closing my eyes and I'm hiding under my table, but I'm gonna go like half a unit on like Bowditch plus 120, just because like
Oh,
it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing you said, man. Like I don't really want a part of either guy, but like I guess I could take Bowditch and take the plus money and just like hide.
I the only bet I would be willing to play in this match is over on unforced errors.
Well, oh, it's gonna be an unforced error fest.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's just a random coin flip of unforced error fests, then like I guess I'll take the plus 120. You know, like there's not really like I don't yeah, I mean like it's I have a really hard time like seeing like I mean Chapo seems completely pure dog or pass right now to me. And so
Hmm.
like here he's not a dog, so like I guess I'll just like play the other guy who is a dog.
All right, but I don't know. Do you really want to back Bodick? Like,
No, I don't. That's why it's a hide. It's like a pray and hide. Like I don't want to back either of these guys, but like like yeah, I get it. Bodick has not been, it's not been ideal, yeah, but hey, like,
he
but
choked
honestly,
mightily
like if you
against
look at those
Monfils.
stats, right? Honestly, this is not that bad of a year, with the exception of that awful thing he did against Corda. I don't know what that is. Is that even a tennis match or performance? I'm not sure what that is, but like everything else is okay. Like what else of this is terrible? Like is losing to Jerry Shang in a third set tiebreak terrible? No. Is losing to Tabilo when Tabilo went on to did he make the final or win the title? Tabilo in
Mm,
Auckland.
he won the title.
Yeah, so is losing to Tabilo 5-3 when he wins the title bad? It's
No,
not great, but it's not terrible. Losing to Sinner, there's no shame in that.
right.
Losing to Righty's pretty bad. That's not ideal. But like, I don't know, man. Like none of looks like terrible, with the exception of
Yeah.
that performance against Corda. So based on that, I'll take VDZ just because it's like
How is Chapo done in Indian Wells?
I didn't even look. I don't even know that I care, man. Like he's so different than what he was even like a year ago. Like
Yeah, he's 5-5. All right, it's kind of par for the course. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want any part. I don't even want to watch that match because it's just like it's going to be a total unforced error fest. Like,
it probably will be. I'm not gonna watch. I'm just putting my money in like praying. Not even praying. I'm just putting my money in like not even caring. Like we'll check back after match is over and see if it cashes or not. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not excited about it.
all right, another match I'm not really itching to see, but okay, we'll preview it because that's what we do here. Fonini and Zapata Morales. Uh oh my God. Fonini is a 3-game favorite, minus 185 on the money line. So Bernabe is plus 155 over under 22. This seems like another under match to me. Like it just seems like if Fonini is just like way better, it's just gonna be like two in love. But then if like Fonini doesn't want to be there, like I guess Bernabe could win easily too, right? What's your thought?
Got two plays.
Okay.
Bernabe set 2 money line and Bernabe 2-1. Like I think this would be a dream spot to take Bernabe LWW if it was offered, but it's not offered for the first round. But like if somebody offers that and set exactly the LWW for Bernabe, I think it's a great play because
I'm not
like
backing Bernabe in any capacity on a hard court, first of all.
do you trust Fognini anymore?
No, but like look at these
Like
results,
so
dude.
it's like it's like plus 475. And like the one thing that I believe in with Bernabe still is his fitness. Like his tennis is terrible, but at least he's fit. And like the way I'm looking at this is like I think the 3 set line, right, is like plus 150 or something. Like it's basically like I can't like plus 140. Like I don't know, man. I can't really see like why the first set and the second set have the same money line here. Like right as the match goes on, Bernabe like this should tilt more towards Bernabe. Like the longer they play, the better that is for Bernabe, right?
I agree with that in principle, but his tennis has been so bad that I don't think he can even make fitness an issue here. That's my concern. Like if you can't make balls and you can't win points, fitness is not even an issue. Like it doesn't even come into the equation in a tennis match. And that's my concern here.
Yeah,
He's been
I'm
so
not.
bad.
I'm pretty concerned about it too. But it's plus 475, right? That helps to quell some of my concerns. Like it's basically a price play. Like I can't, I mean, like I can't because I agree with you. Like I don't like.
I just can't back Bernabe in any capacity on a hard court. Like, period. Like his
Okay,
only
yeah. I mean,
win
look, it
is
makes sense,
against
right?
the
Like he
guy
can't beat anybody. I get it.
ranked 389, Blake Ellis,
Yep.
since October.
Oh, he's
He's been
yeah,
awful.
yeah, for sure. Like he's hashtag not good, but it's again, it's not like the most exciting line I've ever played in a tennis match, but
Like if
I
this was
think
Carballes Baena, 100%.
yeah.
Right?
But that's why we're getting Fognini, why you're getting by RC or not RCB Bernabe as a significant dog. And that's why you're getting him to win in 3 sets at 475 is because like he's not good. Or now it's down to 460. It keeps dropping. It was actually at one point it's at 490, but like that's why you're getting that line is because like I don't know, man.
Yeah. I hear what your logic. I just can't get there.
I hear you.
It's more a fade on Zapata. Like, trust me, I don't want to back Fonini in any way either. I just don't want to back Zapata.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
back him to win two sets. So,
Yeah.
I'm just staying away. I'm not touching that. All right, Flavio Caboli against Roberto Cabarrez Baena. Caboli is a 4-game favorite, minus 300 on the money line, over under 22. Um, RCB is plus 240. Oh my God. I'm leaning another under here in a way. This is a match I see a lot of breaks. I could see 6-2s. Like, it's great when you get a 6-2 set and you have an under because, like, then you just need that guy to win the set and you're good, you know?
Yeah.
Um, do you have a play here?
I'm close to playing RCB to win a set here, or maybe like a 3-set line. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm close.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Like Saboli can make a lot of errors too.
He can, but he's been damn
But
good.
Bain is so, I mean, he's just so useless on anything that's not play.
Hmm.
Like he just doesn't move. He just doesn't move on stuff that's not play. So like, I can't remember the stats on Bain on hard, but they're not good. Like, I don't know, man. I don't want to. But it's really hard to back Caboli to like on a 2-0. Like basically, it's like either back Caboli 2-0 or you back RCB, and like neither's particularly appetizing.
Yeah, and he
Like
didn't
the
have
offer and a goose not that impressive, right?
yeah, he didn't have a good golden swing.
He didn't. Yeah, the only guy he beat was Navone. But he's had some close matches, but he's just like, yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's this is a big spread too for a guy like Kabuli. Like
It's a huge spread.
I'd way rather have like like Kabuli's a guy who I like. I like Kabuli a lot as a player, but I would way rather have him as a dog.
I mean, 3 sets is plus 155. That's pretty appetizing.
Yeah, I mean it's getting close, man. I might have to hit this. This is like right on the borderline for me. But it's just RSP so not good on hardcore, man. And he didn't have a good golden
Yeah.
swing. So it's like just a double whammy.
All right, let's see. Hopefully, I'm staying away there. I can't find a
I
line
hear
that I
you.
like. Monfils and Purcell. Um, Monfils is a 3.5-game favorite, minus 325 on the money line. Purcell's plus 260, over under of 22. I'm probably going to lay the games with Monfils here at 3.5. I think these courts are really bad for Purcell. Um, I think he's going to have a hard time finding holes in Monfils' game. And if Purcell serves and volleys, like Monfils loves to target. So I think that this is just like a really, really bad matchup for Purcell on a court that's going to favor Monfils a lot as well. So either the Monfils 2-0 and sets, that might actually be where I go at minus 115 or laying the 3.5. How about you?
So in the past year, 16 of Monfils' 31 three-set matches have gone to a decider. Um, if you take out matches against top 50 guys,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's 7 out of 14. It's 50% against not top 50 guys. He's gone to a third set 50% of the time in three-set matches on hard courts. Monfils should win this 2-0. He's just so likely to play possum or like clown away a set. And like,
Mm-hmm.
Purcell, I agree. They're not good courts for Purcell, but he's a pretty professional player. He'll give you two good shots to the set. I also like Purcell should never win this 2-0. Like Monfils should always win a set here. And like I do think and I like Monfils, he's mature enough now to like always come out and like compete for matches. I just think he's like, but he could throw a dud set. He could just throw a dud set, or he could he could not have the stamina to get through two sets. I know it's not gonna be a lot of long points per cell, but he still could do that. So I've gone for the three set line here. I think it was a little over plus 150. He's like 150 or 155. Yeah, 150.
50.
That's my players, the three set line of 150, just on the pure guess that Monfils clowns away a set.
I guess I get that Purcell is professional and he's gonna compete, but like I don't know. I don't like what I've seen from Purcell either.
Yeah.
Like,
So Monfils 2-0 wins in the past year since this comeback are against. I'm actually gonna look up one more thing. All right, so he's beaten some like decent guys in two sets as well, but yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like against players who are like it's all based on the against players that are worse than like and like Purcell seems to steal a lot of sets just by like because he has a weird game and like because he kind of I don't know like
yeah, but I
confuses
think that weird
guys.
game it caters to Monfils. Like he actually likes that. Because Purcell is kind of like he has like a decent serve, but he's always looking to come into net and finish points at the net, right? And I think Monfils likes that. He likes a target.
I think the matchup you got right. It's just I don't know, man. Monfils can. I really have a hard time backing Monfils 2-0. Like
All right,
he's
two
just so
zero
lucky.
maybe not. I think you swayed me onto laying the games. I'm gonna lay the 3.5. But
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, that means yeah. I hear the argument. Like it's not like because like yeah, like if you want to make a tennis based argument, like who's the better tennis player and like who's playing better right now, yada yada. I hear you, but he just loses so many sets. And
okay.
it's more than like I really, but I feel like when he also like he doesn't like just throw in dud matches, like throw away matches, especially not first rounders. So like I feel pretty good that like I feel pretty good Monfils is gonna win at least a set, if that makes sense. So now I've just got to try to get Purcell to one set out of two, 40% of the time. I think I can do that. So that's my play.
All right. Sonigo against Kecmanovic. Um,
No thanks. Maybe the under. The under here is kind of interesting. If
23.
I had to look at this play, it'd be the under, but I'm gonna stay away. These guys are both just so volatile, man.
MP9 is over all over Sonigo. Um,
Why?
I think it's more a fade on Kecmanovic. I have to listen to it again. I was just
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Like I'm not necessarily like anti-fading Kecmanovic.
but Kecmanovic does favor slow courts, right? Like I
I
mean,
would think he would. Like he should favor slow courts.
yeah. He had two of his better runs, Indy Wells and Miami in 22. So
Yeah.
the under 23 is a decent look.
If I had to play this, that's what I would play.
Yeah. All right, couple more matches here. Raonic and Nadal. Uh, Raonic is a 2.5 game dog, plus 160 on the money line, over under 23. Nadal's minus 195. So this bet, if you're gonna place this, place a bet on this, it has to be placed on a book where they pay out for retirements. Has to.
Do you actually want to? No, but do you want to do that? Like, because like either guy could be liable for retirement here.
Um,
Like that works both ways.
I guess you're right. I mean, I think who's more likely to retire? It's Raonic.
Probably Ronich. But probably, I mean, but he's honestly he probably gets through. Like this is for the first match, so he'll probably be okay to get through one match.
He only played one set against Sinner in Rotterdam, and then he retired.
But that wasn't the first round. That was like several rounds in. He won a couple matches before that.
Okay.
I mean, I think it makes a big difference for these guys. Like these guys who are like, and Roundish isn't that old, but body wise, he's old. Like these guys have a really hard time coming back for two matches in a week, 3 matches in a week. Like first match is fine, but it tails out quick.
Yeah. I mean, these are two of the most fragile guys on tour. No...
For me, the bottom line here is like somebody. I'm assuming somebody smarter than me, and somebody who has more information than me about Nadal's about both these guys' health set this line. And like health is such like a big piece of this line. I just don't want any part of it.
Mm.
Because I have no idea how either of these guys are going to show up. Like I mean, this is a massive variance based on how each of these guys is feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even try to cap this one. Like this is one like I mean, I tried to for like a minute. I was like, I can't cap this. Like there's no way I can cap this. This isn't gonna make any sense.
I think the Nadal money line in a money line parlay might be a good way to go.
Maybe.
Like on a slow court, that match is also going to be played Thursday night, so it's going to be, even slower. So Ryanic's serve is not going to get as much bite,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
Nadal can stay
All
on
your
his
tennis
back.
arguments can be fine here. It's just I don't particularly like.
Okay. I'm probably going to play Nadal in a money line parlay with someone else,
Okay.
probably Michelson, maybe Zhang. And maybe one of these guys, maybe Machak.
Okay.
All right. Pavel Kotov against Alejandro Tabillo. It's a pure pick'em. Over under 23. I'm leaning Tabillo here. I'm a little bit concerned about the travel spot and long week in Santiago. But he did play well here last year. He made the third or fourth round, I believe.
I mean, the travel spot's really baked into this line. The travel slash fatigue, because like these guys are not close to equal as tennis players right now, in
I'd
my
agree.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So like the travel, like yeah.
And Kotov, I feel like he's played better in indoors and faster courts.
Maybe I don't know if it's just that or if just like the time of year they're just playing better like 2 3 months ago than he is right now. But yeah, I mean, it's another match where I think under could be interesting. Under 23, but this is clear why it's an under. It's an under because it's pick and they're thinking it's gonna go 3 sets. I picked Tabilo here at pick. I like I said, this is a kind of a Manny pick. I think this is a pick. This is like form versus like
Narratives.
form versus no form versus like This is like form and skill level versus narrative versus the travel spot and the fatigue. And like I guess I'll take the better player here and the better
Mhm.
form. So that's where I've gone. Give
Tabilo
me
money line.
to be on my line, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We can make that GBM if you want. Although Kotov is, I don't know, it might not be GBM worthy.
Okay, just one. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever you like.
One, yeah, maybe 1.5, but not two. All right, now Roman Safulin against Dan Evans. This is one of my favorite plays. I'm all over the Dan Evans money line here. I agree with MP9. I think Safulin on slow courts is not a good play.
I mean, it shouldn't be as bad, but it seems like rally tolerance is such an issue for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with you guys played on a similar court 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Was it even that? 2 weeks ago, I think it was 4-2, right?
Uh-huh.
That
Right.
Evans beat him.
Yeah, what has changed much?
Right. Like we had what has changed that now, like and but I guess it was a similar line then. So I guess you could say that at least the books are being consistent in the line they're offering and they're not falling prisoner to the moment. But
Yep.
but yeah, like at a plus 140, I'll back Evans. Like, yeah, I think he's back below 140.
Is it GBM worthy?
Sure.
Okay, let's make that GBM.
Yeah.
I like that.
Surprised want to back a Dan Evans first round match as a GBM. That's the
I know.
only concern I have here.
It's more a fade on Roman, to be
I
honest.
mean, that's honestly the only concern I have here, though, is that it's an Evans first round match. Like that would be the reason to be
Yeah.
concerned. Just to be really clear.
To me, it's just a pure fade on Roman. Like I don't like what I saw from him against Tsitsipas, and like he just seems like he needs the help from the court to, take balls early and stuff like that.
I think he said he needs to finish points quickly, Roman, right? Like he can't really like go into long rallies.
Yeah, he
Evans is
can't play
probably
long
better at that.
rallies. He can't. And Evans is going to slice the ball back. He's going to force
Yeah.
Roman to like hit ball after ball, and
Yeah, this Evans I think is a good play here.
it's a good matchup for Evans.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right, and then last match, Machak against Stan Wawrinka. Machak is a 3-game favorite, minus 225 on the money line. Wawrinka is plus 185, over under of 22.5. I am laying the 3 with Machak. What a surprise. I just
I
think
hear
the
that.
movement gap is so massive here.
The what gap?
The movement gap.
I know. But 3 games is a pretty significant spread. Like you're really hoping for, especially with like Stan Still's a decent serve, so you're really hoping for Makac 2-0 here.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm gonna stay away. I hear the argument, but because like I agree. I think Makac is way better at this point. The question is he 3 games better? I think he probably is 3 games better, which means it's a stay away.
Mhm. Yeah, I just think, I mean, Wawrinka has the capability of hitting through any court. Um, but that being said, like the movement edge is so massive here, and with rallies probably going to be, they're going to be longer. Um,
I hear you.
I'm curious to see when this match is going to be played. Like if it's at night, then I'd favor Machak even more. If it's on the day where, the court is more bouncy and like a little bit faster, then I'd probably stay away. But like,
I hear you.
I don't know. I like Machak here. All right. So recap of the plays for the top half of the draw. We'll start from the bottom here. So I got Machak -3. You're staying away.
Yep.
We got Dan Evans plus 140 money line. That's up to GBM play.
Yep.
Tabilo money line.
That's both of us.
It's
That's not a GBM play.
right. I'm probably gonna play Nadal on a money line parlay at -195. You are staying away.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
All right, I'm playing the Sonego Kecmanovic under 23.
It's a decent look, but I'm gonna stay away. Santiago goes 3 sets too often. He's too erratic.
Okay. I'm playing the Monfils minus 3.5 against Purcell.
This we disagree on. I've got the 3 set
Yes.
line. I think Monfils clowns away a set for no reason. That'll
All
be
right,
some clown. That'll be some popcorn tennis. Hopefully some clowning. Hopefully it's circus tennis. It will be popcorn tennis. The question is, will it be circus or will it just be a boring movie? A boring
we'll have popcorn at the circus.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for.
All right. Caboli and RCB, I am staying away. How about you?
Yeah, I'm stay away, but I'm close to my head. Like it's because if this is
He's
over
the
like
Padre
250.
Morales. You're playing some. You're closing your eyes and playing Zapata 2-1.
Yeah, I mean I think he's more fit. Like
All right.
yeah, like if we can get to a third set, I'm feeling like the 2-1 is a decent play.
All right. I'm
The only
staying.
thing I honestly have to look at there, I may not do it. Now that I think about it, 'cause the only thing I have to look at there is like what does the retirements look like? Because like Fournier might just retire if he gets to a third set.
You might. You might.
And like a 2-1 means I actually need Bernabe to win that set. So it might be better to just play like I don't know, Bernabe something like a 3 set or Bernabe money line, something like that might be better.
All right.
But I don't
I'm
really like
staying.
any of those. I really just want the 2-1. So I don't know. Ugh. Ugh. This is my most
BDD.
play of the day because I'm gonna play BDZ money line. I'm just gonna not even watch the match.
All right. I'm staying away there. We're both on the Feast Borges under 23.
Yep, and I'm on the under 8.5 at plus at 4-1.
4-1. All right. I'm also on the Nuno plus 130, the Nuno money line.
Yeah.
But under 23 will be a GBM play.
Yep.
I am laying the 3.5 with the Michelson at minus
And I'm
2.
playing the other side. We had a bunch of debates tonight. That's pretty
We
good.
did, yeah. It's been good. It's been good.
Yeah. Kind of interesting.
What are you playing on Manure? The money line?
Just the money line. 210. 210 seems pretty good to me.
Okay. All right. And then
It's probably gonna crash and burn. Like the under's probably not a bad look here either, because the under this could completely crash and burn on the hour. But
the Kovacevic Zhang, I am
under
playing under 23.
23.
That's right.
Yeah.
Um
A lot of
Yeah.
unders, which I like. Like I think
that
this is a good
GBM
tournament to go.
is under 23
Sure.
GBM?
Sure.
Wow. Okay. So we got 2 unders and a Dan Evans money line for GBM.
That sounds like it's gonna go really well. I'm so excited. I can't wait to be we're down like we got to like 15 years. I can't wait to be back down 25 units after the first round of this event. Like
Jeez. Yeah, I don't want to get to minus 20. Like that's bad.
well, we were at minus 20, so it can't be that bad. We're already there. It can't be that bad.
I'm back up to like plus 13 units for the year now.
Nice.
Like
nice.
just personally, I was down 40 units at one point and now I'm up 13.
Wow.
So
It's amazing.
it's been a grind. It's been a grind.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So we'll
Matt.
we'll do a pod on the weekend, right? To preview second or third round. We have to.
Yeah.
Masters
Yeah.
1000.
We'll probably do a second round preview pod probably Thursday night or something.
So and we'll be active on the Twitter.
Go.
Brad, you give me a favor. You have to get back on the blog.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll get back on the blog. I'll not for the first round, but later rounds I'll blog a couple matches.
Rounds, yeah.
There's too many plays for the first round, but like
Yeah. But we got to do that again. I'll continue like the write-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be fun times. It's gonna be a good.
It'll be great times. It'll be great times.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Peace
All
out.
right, have a good night,
Good night.
everyone. Good luck on your bets.